Chapter 303. Two Idiots. Qin Feng muttered in his heart. He ignored the two of them and walked straight to his courtyard. Today should be the day Qin Haoyuan and his wife came back to visit him. Since returning to the clan assigned a property to Qin Haoyuan and his wife to manage. That property was some distance away from Soaring Dragon City. Therefore, Qin Haoyuan and his wife rarely returned to the courtyard. They only came back to visit Qin Feng once every half a month. Father, mother? After returning to the courtyard, Qin Feng saw Qin Haoyuan and his wife standing in the courtyard. Feng, you're back. Qin Haoyuan and his wife were very happy to see Qin Feng. Qin Haoyuan scrutinized Qin Feng carefully. His son had grown rapidly in the past 2 years and was almost catching up with him. The childishness on his face had also gradually disappeared. Although he could not be said to be handsome and refined, he gave people a very comfortable feeling. The aura emitted from his body was also much stronger than before. It seemed that his son's cultivation had improved a lot during the time he was not around. Not bad. It seems that you have improved a lot during this time. Qin Haoyuan nodded with a satisfied smile on his face. It seemed that his son did not become arrogant and complacent after becoming the champion of the coming-of-age ceremony. Qin Feng scratched his head and chuckled. Li Ruoyu was a little distressed. Looking at her son's thin face, she asked cautiously, Feng, you've become thinner. Did you not eat well when I was not here? How can the clan's food be compared to mother's cooking? In his previous life, Qin Feng often coaxed the lonely old man in order to avoid being beaten by him. Therefore he was very talented in flattery. You child, you only know how to coax mother. Mother has already prepared the meal. Let's go in and eat, Li Ruoyu said. However, her smiling face showed that she was in a good mood. Father, you broke through? At the dining table, Qin Feng suddenly noticed Qin Haoyuan's abnormality. Haha, father's internal injury was cured by Elder Mu and the clan's medicinal pills. My cultivation has also broken through, Qin Haoyuan said with a smile. Not long ago he had also reached the peak of the second stage. If it was not for his internal injury with Qin Haoyuan's talent, he might have already reached the god realm. Feng, eat more. Li Ruoyu put a piece of meat into Qin Feng's bowl. Thank you, mother. Li Ruoyu's simple action and words of concern suddenly touched Qin Feng's soft heart. In his previous life what he lacked was parental love. In his previous life, looking at the happy family of 3, he didn't know how envious and jealous he was. After transmigrating to this world, the heavens actually bestowed him with a beautiful family. This made Qin Feng feel as if he was in a dream. What's wrong, Feng? Is it not tasty? Seeing Qin Feng's somewhat dazed appearance, Li Ruoyu asked. It's nothing. It's delicious, delicious. Qin Feng hurriedly ate in big mouthfuls. Looking at Qin Feng wolfing down the food, Li Ruoyu smiled with gratification. Slow down, don't choke. Feng, in 2 days the clan will organize a training trip to the Sunset Mountains. How are your preparations going? Qin Haoyuan was more concerned about Qin Feng's cultivation situation. Father, don't worry. There's no problem. Qin Feng swallowed the food in his mouth and hurriedly answered. Actually, there was no need for Qin Haoyuan to worry about it. Qin Feng was extremely strict when it came to cultivation. The family enjoyed the warmth of this family as much as they could, and their laughter spread far and wide. Mu Clan Martial Training Field. In the middle of the martial training field, there were several hundred young men and women of the Mu clan standing in an orderly manner. Looking around, Qin Feng saw Mu Hanyu, Mu Hanqing, Mu Kuan, Mu Sheng and the others. In an inconspicuous corner, Qin Feng was also standing there, listening to the teachings coming from the high platform in front of the martial training field. On the high platform in front of the martial training field, there stood an aged figure. That figure was the elder supervisor of the Mu clan, Mu Chuandao. You are all the young talents of the clan. You are the future hope of the clan. In order to prepare for the Young Heroes competition half a year later, the clan has decided to send you all to the Sunset Mountains to gain experience for 2 months. The Young Heroes competition was a competition for the young generation of the various sects in Soaring Dragon City. In the past, the Mu clan's disciples had always won the championship. However, after the appearance of Jing Jian of the Bright Moon Hall, he forcibly snatched the championship from the Mu clan in the previous Young Heroes competition. If this year's championship was snatched by other sects, the Mu clan's reputation would be swept to the ground. Therefore, the higher-ups of the Mu clan attached great importance to this Young Heroes competition and specially organized the young generation of the clan to gain experience in the Sunset Mountains. The clan has decided that after the end of the training, 5 of you will be selected to participate in this Young Heroes competition. The 5 participants will be allowed to enter the Star Force room to cultivate. As soon as these words were spoken, the entire martial training field was in an uproar. The eyes of the young men and women present emitted scorching rays of light. The Star Force room was a cultivation room built by the Mu clan at a special location under the Earth's surface. It was filled with the Star Force energy produced by the Earth's core. It was very beneficial for the cultivation of starry warriors. The Star Force room was opened once every 2 years. The Star Force energy inside could only be used by 5 people at a time. The Star Force room was a place where the energy from the Earth's core gathered. It was self-evident that it was beneficial for cultivation. Besides, cultivating in the Star Force room was an excellent opportunity to break through one's own realm. Previously, many clansmen had completed breakthroughs in their own cultivation in the Star Force room. Mu Chuandao looked at the reaction of the young men and women below and knew that his words had achieved the desired effect. He said, "The winner of the Young Heroes competition will be rewarded with 100 Star Force pills and the clan's medium-grade profound-level star technique, the Heaven's Ward Sword technique." Boom. The entire martial training field was in an uproar. The Heaven's Ward Sword technique was a great temptation even for the elders of the Mu clan, let alone the young disciples of the clan. Not to mention there were also 100 Star Force pills. From this, it could be seen that the Mu clan had indeed put in a lot of effort for this Young Heroes competition. Seeing that he had achieved his goal, Mu Chuandao continued, "You will enter the Sunset Mountains from Liujia town and your final destination will be Qinglin town. The clan will send someone to receive you there." The Sunset Mountains covered a large area and stretched for hundreds of thousands of miles from east to west. The mountains were undulating and ran through the entire Yanlong dynasty. The mountains were densely forested with towering ancient trees and ferocious demonic beasts. Ordinary people would not dare to go deep at all. Liujia town and Qinglin town were separated by the Sunset Mountains. In order to reach Qinglin town from Wuxia town, one would have to cross the entire Sunset Mountains. However, the Mu clan had sent experts to clean up this part of the mountains repeatedly. Some high-level demonic beasts had been eliminated or driven away, leaving only some low-level demonic beasts for the disciples of the clan to train. However, even so, the training this time was still quite dangerous. After all, they would be facing ferocious demonic beasts and might lose their lives if they were not careful. However, the training through blood and sweat was very necessary for the disciples of the clan who were used to living like princes. Otherwise, they would be at a great disadvantage when fighting with other forces, which would be detrimental to the development of the clan in the future. The higher-ups of the Mu clan were also aware of this point, which was why they organized the training this time. The training this time is voluntary. If anyone feels that it is too dangerous, they can withdraw. However, they will automatically lose the qualification to participate in the selection. Mu Chuandao was still smiling as he said this. After hearing this, the hundreds of youths were silent. Not long after, more than 10 youths felt that the training this time was too dangerous and withdrew from the training field. Mu Chuandao's expression did not change after seeing this. He had already expected this scene. After all, not every youth had such confidence and courage. Tomorrow the clan will send people to escort you to Liujia town. From there, you will be sent to the Sunset Mountains in batches. Mu Chuandao looked at these youths who still had a trace of childishness and said with a smile, "If you don't have any questions, then go back and prepare. We will gather here again tomorrow." Following Mu Chuandao's departure, the young boys and girls on the martial arts field burst into a discussion. Mu Hanyu and Mu Hanqing walked in front of Qin Feng. Mu Hanqing smiled and said, "Little pervert, do you want to follow us for tomorrow's training? With Sister Hanyu's protection, you will definitely pass this training successfully." With the arrival of the two girls, Qin Feng clearly felt the hostile gazes from the surroundings. As the two bright pearls of the Mu clan, Mu Hanqing and Mu Hanyu would be the center of attention no matter where they went. Now that the two pearls were standing beside him, how could he not be jealous of them? Mu Kuan and Mu Cheng looked at each other and understood tacitly. They quickly walked towards the three of them. With the arrival of the two of them, everyone in the training field looked at them. Facing everyone's gazes, Qin Feng also felt a little uncomfortable. However, trouble seemed to have taken a liking to him. No matter where he went, there would be a bunch of trouble. Although his cultivation level seemed low, he had the spirit-swallowing demonic flames, the Flaming Sun tyrannical technique, the Xianling copper body technique and the Blazing Flame Fist. After this period of cultivation, he was not completely powerless against Mu Kuan and Mu Cheng. "Sister Qin, cousin Qin Feng is very capable, why would he need our help? Why don't the four of us go together tomorrow?" Mu Cheng chuckled softly, but there was obviously a tinge of displeasure in his tone. "Who wants to go with you guys?" Mu Hanqing rolled her eyes at Mu Cheng. She was not very interested in this suitor of hers. Hence, she did not stand on ceremony with him. "Sister Yu, let's form a team of 5 and cross the Luoxia Mountains tomorrow. That way we can take care of each other and it will be safer." Mu Kuan's tone was very calm, but Qin Feng inadvertently discovered the menace in his slender eyes. Qin Feng glanced at the two of them in front of him. Compared to Mu Cheng, Mu Kuan was much more shrewd. However, Qin Feng believed that a silent dog would bite more ruthlessly. If there was a chance, Mu Kuan would definitely not show him any mercy. Due to the fact that he did not want to get into any unnecessary trouble, Qin Feng said calmly, "I'm sorry, I want to train myself by crossing the Luoxia Mountains this time, so I've decided to cross alone." After saying that, he turned around and left. When Qin Feng was still in rank 1, he often trained himself in the periphery of the Luoxia Mountains and killed countless beasts. Hence, although he was facing demonic beasts this time, he was very familiar with such training and had a card up his sleeve. What an arrogant little bastard. Mu Cheng cursed at Qin Feng's back view viciously. To his surprise, he suddenly felt a sharp pain in his foot. He took a look and realized that Mu Hanqing had stepped on his foot forcefully. Qin Feng turned around and glanced at Mu Cheng coldly without saying anything. He then turned around and left. After being glared at by Qin Feng, Mu Cheng broke out in cold sweat and his heartbeat suddenly accelerated. Seeing that Qin Feng had left, he heaved a sigh of relief. He didn't know why, but Qin Feng gave him an incomparably frightening feeling. Qin Feng carefully walked forward. However, his journey was very smooth. It was so smooth that even Qin Feng didn't dare to believe it. The cave wasn't deep and it didn't take Qin Feng long to reach the end. However, when Qin Feng looked at the end of the cave, he was dumbfounded. His eyes were filled with shock and his face was filled with disbelief. At the end of the cave, there was a skeleton sitting cross-legged. The skeleton was emitting a faint green radiance. According to Qin Feng's estimation, the skeleton had at least 1,000 years of history. However, even after 1,000 years, the skeleton was still emitting a strong pressure. Although this pressure had decreased a lot with the erosion of time, the majesty within it had not changed in the slightest. This should be the place where this expert passed away? Qin Feng swallowed a mouthful of saliva and guessed in his heart. However, why wasn't there any protection at the place where this expert passed away? Qin Feng didn't understand either because he had read in the ancient book that the place where an expert passed away would be set up with many mechanisms and obstacles in front of him to prevent others from coveting it. However, Qin Feng didn't suffer any attacks along the way, nor did he encounter any mechanisms. However, what made Qin Feng feel even more strange was that the cave was empty and there was nothing left behind. This was also inconsistent with what Qin Feng had read in the ancient book. Generally, when an expert passed away, they would bury their treasures such as spirit treasures, cultivation methods, star techniques, and other treasures with them. However, nothing was found here. Could it be? Qin Feng took a breath of cold air and an idea popped up in his mind. Could it be that this expert didn't pass away but was imprisoned here? This was too terrifying. Qin Feng's back was instantly drenched in cold sweat. Judging from the pressure emitted by the skeleton, it was at least a powerhouse of the divine power realm. It might even be in existence beyond the divine power realm. In the Yanlong dynasty, divine power realm powerhouses were like gods. Who could imprison such a powerhouse here? No, Qin Feng calmed down and realized that things weren't as he had imagined. This was because he realized that there were no seals around the cave or on the skeleton. There were also no traces of damage on the stone walls of the cave. This powerhouse shouldn't have been imprisoned here. Qin Feng thought hard for a long time but couldn't come to a conclusion. Finally, he decided to give up. "Senior, I didn't mean to offend you. Please forgive me." Qin Feng came in front of the skeleton and kowtowed to it 3 times. Although he didn't know the name of this skeleton expert, nor did he know if he was good or evil when he was alive, but trespassing into the place of another's death was, after all, a sinister thing to do. Although it was unintentional, Qin Feng still kowtowed to him 3 times as an apology. However, after Qin Feng kowtowed 3 times, he realized that the finger of the skeleton actually moved slightly. This discovery scared him out of his wits. Could it be that this skeleton was still alive? Qin Feng retreated quickly and stared at the skeleton vigilantly. The power of the stars in his body was circulating to prevent the skeleton from suddenly attacking. The skeleton didn't move, nor did it chase after him. Instead, a white light flashed from the skull of the skeleton and rushed into Qin Feng's mind. Qin Feng was shocked, but things weren't as bad as he thought. When the white light rushed into his mind, other than making him feel slightly dizzy, it didn't cause any other symptoms. In his mind, a token floated quietly with the words Xianling written on it. At the same time, 8 words appeared in Qin Feng's mind. Chapter 304. The scorching heat made the 5 of them feel extremely hot. Perhaps it was because Mu Hanyu and Mu Sheng were cultivating the frost technique, but their conditions were slightly better. However, Qin Feng and the other 2 were sweating profusely and their clothes were drenched. It was as if they had just been scooped out of the water. However, under the pressure and high temperature of the star power, the 5 of them also benefited greatly. The star power in their bodies was compressed by the pressure of the star power and gradually solidified. The 5 of them walked slowly in the passageway without saying a word. They circulated their energy to resist the pressure and high temperature of the star power. It wasn't that they didn't want to talk, but rather they had exhausted all their energy just by walking. They didn't have the energy to talk at all. There was a huge luminous pearl every 50 meters in the passageway. Such luminous pearls were extremely expensive in the outside world. Clearly, the Mu clan had paid a huge price for this star power room. The faint light of the luminous pearls shone on the slightly childish faces of the 5 of them. The 5 of them had determined looks on their faces. As the 5 most outstanding members of the younger generation of the Mu clan, they were not ordinary people. The reason why they could achieve so much was not only because they were extremely talented, but also because the family provided them with elixirs and star techniques. It was also because the 5 of them were determined people who could endure the boredom, loneliness, and tiredness of cultivation. They continued walking for nearly 4 hours before the 5 of them finally arrived at the bottom of the passageway. The 5 of them suddenly felt enlightened. A pentagonal square appeared in front of them, and there was a star power cultivation room at each corner. There was a huge stone pillar in the middle of the square. There were several huge luminous pearls embedded at the top of the stone pillar, illuminating the square as if it was daytime. This is the star power room? Qin Feng was surprised to see the pentagonal square. Only a large family like the Mu clan could build such a lavish building. Mu Kuan looked at Qin Feng's surprised expression and sneered in disdain. Clearly he was disdainful of people like Qin Feng who hadn't seen much of the world. It was the second time that he and Mu Hanyu had come to the star power room to cultivate. Hence, they were familiar with the situation here. Mu Hanyu said calmly, "There are a total of 5 cultivation rooms here. Everyone pick one and go in to cultivate." The 5 of them looked at each other, then each chose a star force room to cultivate. After entering the star force cultivation room, Qin Feng discovered that the cultivation room was rather large, almost as large as the courtyard he lived in. The cultivation room was divided into 2 halves by a screen. One half was used for resting. Some of the daily necessities and facilities were all available. It was extremely thoughtful. The other half was used for cultivation, and there was a cultivation platform that was about half a meter tall. On the 4 walls of the cultivation room, a luminous pearl was embedded, faintly illuminating the entire room. Qin Feng sat cross-legged on the cultivation platform and instantly, he felt a fiery and majestic astral energy gushing out from the bottom of the cultivation platform. There was something strange about this cultivation platform. Qin Feng's guess was also extremely accurate. The cultivation platform was built with a special material, and there was an extremely huge platform foundation under the cultivation platform. The rich star energy in the Earth's core was absorbed by the platform foundation and transmitted into the cultivation platform. This kind of star energy that was produced from the Earth's core was fiery and ferocious. It was extremely beneficial for cultivating the flaming sun tyrannical art. Although the effects of this kind of stellar energy would be greatly reduced for Mu Hanyu and Mu Sheng, who were starry warriors who cultivated in-attribute martial arts, the advantage was that there was sufficient stellar energy. It was extremely beneficial for the 2 of them. Qin Feng closed his eyes and immediately circulated the flaming sun tyrannical art. Immediately, the rich star energy of heaven and earth gushed into Qin Feng's body. The originally ethereal star energy seemed to have turned into something substantial. Streams of star energy entered Qin Feng's body through his breathing and skin. As the star energy of heaven and earth gushed into his body, Qin Feng could feel the changes in his body. The star energy whirlpool in his dantian started to revolve, gradually forming a star energy storm. Qin Feng followed the meridians of the flaming sun tyrannical art and guided the star energy to the entrance of the 6th meridian. Previously, Qin Feng had already opened half of the 6th meridian. However, the remaining half of the meridian was blocked. It was as if the meridian had taken root. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't open it. "Let's see how you're going to stop me this time," Qin Feng muttered in his heart. The star energy was like a huge torrent as it gushed into Qin Feng's 6th meridian. attacking the remaining half of the meridian. Boom boom boom. Previously when he was attacking, it was because the star energy wasn't enough that he couldn't break through the blockage. In the star energy room, the star energy of heaven and earth was extremely rich. With the flaming sun tyrannical art refining the star energy, there was no need to worry about the lack of star energy. The blockage in the meridian also became weak under the impact. Qin Feng could even hear the sound of the blockage cracking. Following the impact, a kind of pain that penetrated into the marrow quietly entered Qin Feng's nerves. However, he only frowned slightly and endured the pain. Qin Feng knew that there was no power that came out of nowhere. This kind of impact on the meridian would definitely cause pain. Moreover, this kind of pain would only get more intense later on. This kind of impact lasted for an entire day. With an explosive sound in his body, the star energy in Qin Feng's body suddenly became even more resplendent. The vigorous star energy circulated throughout his body. A domineering and ferocious aura pervaded Qin Feng's surroundings. The sixth meridian was completely opened. Qin Feng slowly opened his eyes. Feeling the increase in strength, the corner of his mouth revealed a trace of a smile. It had only been a day since he entered the star energy room and he had already successfully opened the sixth meridian. Qin Feng didn't know how many meridians he could open during the time he was cultivating in the star energy room. He was also very curious about it. Taking out dry food and water from the void ring to replenish his strength, Qin Feng once again immersed himself in cultivation. However, at this time, Qin Feng discovered that the devouring spirit devil flame in his dantian suddenly fluctuated strangely, emitting a low and subtle sound. Qin Feng quickly immersed his mind and attentively observed the strange fluctuation of the devouring spirit devil flame. He also felt strange in his heart. After he advanced to the second rank, the body tempering effect of the devouring spirit devil flame didn't seem as obvious as before. Therefore, the devouring spirit devil flame gradually stopped tempering Qin Feng's body. It had always been quietly staying in Qin Feng's dantian, peacefully coexisting with the star energy whirlpool. However, for some unknown reason, today's devouring spirit devil flame was like an awakened beast, emitting strange fluctuations. These fluctuations emitted a trace of berserk feeling. An invisible suction force emerged from the devouring spirit devil flame, and the star energy in Qin Feng's body crazily rushed toward the devouring spirit devil flame. Qin Feng was greatly astonished, but more than that he was furious. All along, Qin Feng had always injected the star energy into the devouring spirit devil flame before controlling it. There had never been a case where the devouring spirit devil flame absorbed his star energy on its own. Now, the devouring spirit devil flame was absorbing the star energy in his body. If this happened when he was facing an enemy, wouldn't it be dangerous? Qin Feng sent a thought with a reprimand into the devouring spirit devil flame. When the devouring spirit devil flame came into contact with Qin Feng's thought, it unexpectedly acted like a child who had made a mistake. It stopped absorbing the star energy and shrunk to a corner of his dantian. However, Qin Feng carefully discovered that after the devouring spirit devil flame absorbed the star energy, not only did it not increase in size, it actually shrunk a little. It was more condensed than before, and even the temperature it emitted was a little higher. Previously, Qin Feng did not discover this situation, but this time, using his mind, he discovered it. Could it be that the devouring spirit devil flame could also evolve? A question arose in Qin Feng's heart. With a thought, Qin Feng summoned the devouring spirit devil flame out of his body. Immediately, an incomparably powerful suction force was emitted from the devouring spirit devil flame, pulling the fiery star energy between heaven and earth toward the devouring spirit devil flame. The devouring spirit devil flame seemed to have transformed into a bottomless black hole, wantonly absorbing the star energy. Just as Qin Feng discovered, after the devouring spirit devil flame absorbed a large amount of star energy, its size became a little smaller. Although this change was extremely small, Qin Feng could still feel it. However, although its size became smaller, that wisp of black flame origin grew a little stronger. The devouring spirit devil flame could really evolve. Looking at this scene, Qin Feng had a bold guess in his heart. When Feng Qingyang and the Black Flame Evil Lord fought that day, the devouring spirit devil flame also suffered heavy injuries and needed to refine the star energy to recover. Could it be that the devouring spirit devil flame sensed that the star energy here was extremely rich, so it decided to absorb it to evolve? If that was the case, then the devouring spirit devil flame's intelligence seemed to be abnormally high. A flame that could evolve and gain sentience sounded a little terrifying. What Qin Feng was most worried about was that if the devouring spirit devil flame's intelligence was really so high, then would it devour its master one day? Right now, the devouring spirit devil flame might still be in a weak stage and was unable to break free from his control. If it became strong one day, if it devoured its master, wouldn't it take his old life? With Qin Feng's current strength, if the devouring spirit devil flame really wanted to devour its master, there was really nothing he could do. Qin Feng immediately felt a sense of crisis. There was still an essence spirit in his body that had not been dealt with, and now there was another flame added. Qin Feng was truly somewhat speechless. However, if the devouring spirit devil flame could really evolve and become stronger and be used by him, then it could also become a major trump card of his. On one hand, it was the temptation of a trump card, and on the other hand, it was the danger of devouring its master, making Qin Feng's heart very conflicted. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Even if the devouring spirit devil flame devours its master, is there still a need to be afraid when my strength is strong? I don't believe that my own cultivation speed can't be compared to a flame, Qin Feng said fiercely in his heart. Qin Feng did not absorb the devouring spirit devil flame into his body, but instead allowed it to absorb the power of the stars between heaven and earth. He slowly closed his eyes and immersed himself in his own cultivation. Qin Feng looked over. Not only was there an extra strength of the stars pill, there was also an extra bottle of recovery pills. This kind of recovery pill could quickly heal wounds and replenish a small amount of strength of the stars. It was much better than the ordinary Jinchuang medicine and dispelling powder, and was also a kind of expensive pill. Many thanks, Elder Mu. Qin Feng put the pill into the void stone, signed his name on the register and thanked Mu Huagong. It was already extremely rare for Mu Huagong to give him an extra strength of the stars pill, not to mention an extra bottle of recovery pills. Haha, little fellow, your power has increased by quite a bit, Mu Huagong also said with a smile. He was also quite fond of Qin Feng. This little fellow did not have the arrogance and complacency of an ordinary youth. He understood etiquette and was relatively low-key, and his talent was extremely good. Hee, isn't this all thanks to Elder Mu's miraculous elixirs? Qin Feng said with a smile. Ah, you little fellow. Flattery was always effective. Qin Feng's words made Mu Huagong feel extremely comfortable. If Qin Feng was not a seedling that the clan focused on nurturing, Mu Huagong would have groomed him as his successor and imparted his own refining skills to him. In his previous life, Qin Feng was a traditional Chinese medicine doctor and was more proficient in pharmacology. If he became a pharmacist, he would definitely be extremely outstanding. However, in order to prevent good seedlings from indulging in refining medicine and wasting their star techniques, the clan prohibited talented seedlings from refining medicine. Besides, Qin Feng felt that refining medicine was indeed very tiring, so he gave up on the idea of becoming a pharmacist. After Qin Feng bade farewell to Mu Huagong, he did not return to the courtyard and instead walked towards the library in the east courtyard. These days, in addition to the necessary cultivation, Qin Feng often went to the library to read some books. Of course, among the cultivation methods and star techniques in the library, he was now only interested in the heavenly flight sword technique. The rest were no longer attractive to him. He did not go there to cultivate his star techniques, but to read the books at the north end of the first floor of the library. It was only when he accidentally flipped through the books that he discovered that there were many valuable books in there. Mu Hanqing glanced at Qin Feng and remained silent. Maybe that senior is an expert who lives in seclusion in the Wuxia mountains. Maybe he doesn't want to show up. Mu Kuan guessed. Mu Hanyu walked towards Qin Feng and said, Qin Feng, since we've met, shall we go together? Qin Feng shook his head and said, Thank you, Sister Hanyu, but I still want to train alone. Hanqing is injured, please take care of her. Qin Feng did not want to go with them because he could tell that Mu Kuan and Mu Cheng were hostile towards him. If he were to go with them, they would probably get into a fight within 2 days. Mu Hanyu was stunned, for she did not expect Qin Feng to reject her suggestion. It was also the first time she was rejected. Qin Feng, I will wait for you at the clan selection. Mu Cheng hollered with anger in his eyes. Okay. Qin Feng was not swayed at all as he turned around to leave. Looking at Qin Feng's back view, Mu Hanqing said angrily, What a stubborn guy. Seems like cousin Qin Feng has gained a lot during this period of time. Mu Kuan had already sensed that Qin Feng's aura was much stronger than before. I'll definitely teach him a lesson during the selection, Mu Cheng said menacingly. After parting ways with Mu Hanyu and the rest, Qin Feng once again wandered alone in the Wuxia mountains. When he was thirsty, he would drink a mouthful of spring water. When he was hungry, he would chew on some wild fruits. When he was lucky, he would also encounter some spiritual herbs. Time also flowed by in minutes and seconds, and Qin Feng's strength once again rose under this kind of tempering. The youth sat cross-legged on the ground like a stone statue. The medicinal efficacy of the grade 2 green crystal fruit that he had just consumed was completely released. The blazing sun tyrannical art was slowly circulating within his body, and the pure star energy circulated through his meridians, nourishing his entire body. This kind of cultivation continued for a full 4 hours. The youth's slightly closed eyes slowly opened, and a hint of excitement flashed across his originally dignified little face. He could faintly feel that he was about to break through again. Mid-second order small perfection? How was this possible? Even Qin Feng himself did not dare to believe it. It had not even been a month since he reached the peak of the early second order, and he was about to break through again? However, his intuition told him that as long as he had enough star energy, breaking through again should not be a problem. Chapter 305. 2 million profound coins could buy 130 stalks of third-grade spirit herbs. It was a considerable amount of wealth in any third-rate force, but now it was casually mentioned by a young girl. Zheng Jian hesitated for a moment before he turned around to look at a middle-aged man. The middle-aged man looked very ordinary, but his eyes were as sharp as an eagle's, and he exuded an amazing aura. He was Zheng Nan, the hall master of Bright Moon Hall and Zheng Jian's father. He was an expert at the peak of stage 3. Although Zheng Nan didn't know why his son wanted to fight for the metal plate, the fight for the metal plate had clearly risen from a grudge between two juniors to a matter that concerned the reputation of both factions. Thus, he nodded his head lightly and acquiesced to his son's actions. 3 million cultivation coins. Zheng Jian gritted his teeth when he saw his father's acquiescence. He shouted an even more explosive price. 4 million cultivation coins. When Mu Hanqing called out 4 million cultivation coins, Zheng Jian's expression turned extremely ugly. Although he could afford 4 million cultivation coins, there were still other items to fight for. If he spent too much here, it would be detrimental to the competition later on. 4 million cultivation coins might be a drop in the ocean for the Wind Cloud sect, but Zheng Nan was only the hall master of the Bright Moon Hall. If the Wind Cloud sect's elders knew about this, they might reprimand his father. Moreover, spending 4 million cultivation coins to buy an iron token was a huge loss. Therefore Zheng Jian decided to give up. Forget it, I'll let you have it. When Zheng Jian said this, everyone in the hall was disappointed. It was a little disappointing that a good show ended like this. 4 million cultivation coins going once. 4 million cultivation coins going twice. 5 million cultivation coins. Just when Yao Li was about to hit the auction hammer in his hand, Zheng Nan suddenly called out. His voice was wrapped in the power of the stars and echoed throughout the auction hall. His strength as a peak third-order expert was undoubtedly revealed. No one would have thought that at this time, Zheng Nan interfered again. Hallmaster Zheng, isn't it beneath our dignity to interfere in a fight between juniors? Mu Qingde said coldly. Everyone present could hear the anger in Mu Qingde's voice. In the face of Zheng Jian's provocation, not only did the people of Mingyue Hall not care, but they also let him cause trouble. In the end, even Zheng Nan disregarded his identity and stepped in, which made Mu Qingde very angry. Brother Qingde, in this auction house, strength speaks the loudest. Does seniority matter? If that's the case, we might as well send some newborn babies to auction. Zheng Nan smiled faintly. Everyone thought about it and felt that Zheng Nan was right. Treasures, of course, belong to the strong. Yao Li, on the other hand, looked at the two major forces with a dumbfounded expression. He never expected that the broken iron plate in front of him would actually be auctioned for a high price of 5 million cultivation coins. This was too exaggerated. It seems that the Wind Cloud sect wants to make things difficult for the Mu clan this time. An old man in the backstage said softly. Judging by his appearance, it was Master Xiesher. Hanqing, tell Uncle De to let it go. Qin Feng whispered to Mu Hanqing. He didn't expect that this iron token would cause such a dispute. I'm afraid this has nothing to do with this iron plate. Beautiful brother has a bet. Don't worry, Uncle De knows what to do. Mu Hanqing shook her head. The development of the matter had indeed exceeded her expectations. It was almost out of control. 6 million cultivation coins. Sure enough, Mu Qingde and Zheng Nan looked at each other and bid again. In terms of wealth, the Mu clan could completely crush the Bright Moon Hall. However, the Bright Moon Hall was entrusted by the Wind Cloud sect this time. Their wealth couldn't be underestimated. The Mu clan is indeed rich and overbearing. Zheng Nan admits defeat. Zheng Nan said with a smile. 6 million cultivation coins could be used to buy 400 third-rank spiritual herbs. Although the first confrontation between the two major forces ended in the Mu clan's victory, the crowd still looked at the Mu clan with a strange gaze. Using 6 million cultivation coins to buy this iron plate was definitely a huge loss. However, Qin Feng had an intuition that the value of this iron plate was definitely much higher than 6 million cultivation coins. As the auction hammer in Yao Li's hand fell, the iron plate finally fell into the hands of the Mu clan. Following the end of the competition between the Bright Moon Hall and the Mu clan, the following auction items appeared to be somewhat calm. The prices didn't exceed 6 million cultivation coins. After Mu Qingde won the iron plate, he didn't make a move again. He just coldly watched everything that happened in the auction hall. Zheng Nan also remained silent. It seemed that they were all aiming for the treasures at the back of the auction hall. Everyone knew that there would be a fierce confrontation between the major forces at the back. They were all looking forward to it. Qin Feng looked at the auction items one by one. It was an eye-opener. These items were things that he didn't usually see. However, the four major forces didn't care much about these items. In their eyes, these items weren't rare. However, Qin Feng also knew that the real finale was yet to come. When there were only 3 maids left on the stage, everyone's face was filled with excitement. These 3 items were the real treasures. This is a 6th-rank spiritual herb, heart-congealing orchid. It's the main ingredient for refining the spirit-congealing pill. Yao Li lifted the brocade cloth. What appeared in front of everyone was a blood-red, heart-shaped orchid with 5 petals. It emitted a strong fragrance and revealed a trace of a strange aura. Looking at the blood-red heart-congealing orchid on the stage, everyone's breaths became heavy. Everyone knew that the heart-congealing orchid was the main ingredient for refining the spirit-congealing pill. The spirit-congealing pill was a high-grade pill that could help the Starry Warriors condense their primordial spirit. Before the Starry Warriors reached the God Realm, they only had a physical body and a soul. However, when the Starry Warriors reached the God Realm, they could condense their primordial spirit in their dantian. When the physical body was damaged, as long as the primordial spirit wasn't destroyed, there was still hope for rebirth. The primordial spirit was different from the soul. When the Starry Warrior's physical body was damaged, the soul couldn't exist alone. It would also be annihilated with the wind. The primordial spirit was another special existence that could be condensed in the dantian by the Starry Warriors after they reached the God Realm. It could be called the Starry Warriors' second physical body. The strength of the primordial spirit of the Starry Warriors was different in different realms. The primordial spirit of a God Realm powerhouse couldn't be separated from the physical body for long periods of time. The primordial spirit of a God Realm powerhouse could be separated from the physical body and exist alone for decades or even centuries. The primordial spirit of a carefree realm powerhouse could last for hundreds of years. When one reached the martial ancestor realm and above, the primordial spirit had reached an extremely powerful stage and could last for thousands or even tens of thousands of years. However, no Starry Warrior would easily separate their primordial spirit from the physical body. This was because it would damage the primordial spirit and cause their cultivation base to be greatly reduced. Successfully condensing a primordial spirit not only increased one's chances of survival, but also greatly improved the Starry Warrior's cultivation base. Of course, not every Starry Warrior could condense a primordial spirit after they reached the God Realm. One could imagine how difficult it was to condense a primordial spirit. The spirit-congealing pill could greatly reduce this difficulty and increase the Starry Warrior's chances of successfully condensing a primordial spirit. For a moment, everyone in the auction house had their eyes on the blood-congealing orchid. The place became extremely quiet. Everyone, a spiritual herb like the blood-congealing orchid is very rare in the Tianfeng region. I hope everyone can seize this opportunity. The starting price is 40 million cultivation coins and each increment must be no less than 2 million cultivation coins. Yao Li looked at everyone's expression and knew that this spiritual herb had already moved everyone's hearts. *CK This is too expensive. Qin Feng cursed in his heart. The starting price was 40 million cultivation coins. Other than the yellow rank upper grade cultivation technique that was sold for 50 million cultivation coins, none of the other items sold for more than 40 million cultivation coins. Heroes Creed newest chapters. Although Starry Warriors had a certain chance of condensing a primordial spirit even without the spirit congealing pill, with the spirit congealing pill, not only could they have a 70% chance of condensing a primordial spirit, but it could also reduce the intense pain caused by condensing a primordial spirit. A mere 40 million cultivation coins was nothing. 40 million cultivation coins. Someone in the hall immediately shouted. 42 million cultivation coins. However, not even a second later, it was immediately suppressed by a dark-faced man. Without waiting for the four major powers to make a move, this blood-congealing orchid had already been raised to a high price of 60 million cultivation coins. 70 million cultivation coins. This price caused everyone in the hall to shut their mouths and look towards the direction of the voice. Qin Feng also curiously looked towards the direction of the voice. Where the Lu clan was, a middle-aged man in a blue robe sat indifferently. Qin Feng heard the discussions of the people around him and knew that this middle-aged man was called Lu Li, a peak third-level expert. The Lu clan was the weakest clan among the four major powers. They didn't have much confidence in competing for the first two treasures, so they chose to make a move on the blood-congealing orchid. Mu Qingda had a good relationship with the Lu clan. Seeing that the Lu clan had made a move, Mu Qingda also didn't bid. The Wind Cloud sect also didn't seem to be interested in the blood-congealing orchid and didn't bid for it. It seemed that they were aiming for the last two items. The only one left that could compete with the Lu clan was the Lei clan. 72 million cultivation coins. As expected, the Lei clan and Lu clan were competing. 75 million cultivation coins. 80 million cultivation coins. The competition between the two major powers was indeed intense, and the result of the auction was that the Lu clan had to fork out an extra 25 million cultivation coins to obtain the blood-congealing orchid. Who invented this method of auctioning? It's too awesome. Qin Feng exclaimed in his heart. A sixth-grade elixir that was originally worth 80 million cultivation coins could actually be auctioned for 95 million cultivation coins, an increase of nearly 20%. The Wind Cloud sect and the three major clans represented the top powers in the Tianfeng province. They also needed to display their strength to the outside world, and this auction was a way for the major powers to display their strength. As there were only two items left in the auction, the atmosphere in the auction house became increasingly heated. However, everyone knew that only the four major powers in the Tianfeng province could compete for the last two items. Everyone, this is the low profound level spirit treasure, the Green Rainbow Blade. I won't say anything else. This Green Rainbow Blade was personally refined by Master Xie, and I believe that everyone knows the value of Tao Xian's low profound level spirit treasure. The starting price is 50 million cultivation coins, and each increment must not be less than 5 million cultivation coins. Yao Li received a silver plate from the remaining two maids and lifted the brocade cloth as he spoke. What appeared in front of everyone was a cyan broadsword. The broadsword was about 4 feet long, and the blade was slightly wider than an ordinary broadsword. There were many rune-like markings on the blade, and these markings reflected a 7-colored light like a rainbow. Domineering. This was the first impression everyone had when they saw the Green Rainbow Blade. They also felt an extremely dense domineering aura from the Green Rainbow Blade. Qin Feng looked at the Green Rainbow Blade and exclaimed in his heart. If he could obtain this Green Rainbow Blade, coupled with a profound level blade art and the Blazing Sun Tyrannical Mystic Blade, he would definitely be incomparably powerful. He might even be able to fight against a third-stage powerhouse. A low profound level spirit treasure was able to greatly increase the battle strength of a Starry Sky Warrior and was rare in the entire Tianfeng province. This Green Rainbow Blade was also successfully refined by Xie Shi with great difficulty. With his strength as a soul sculptor, refining a low profound level spirit treasure was still somewhat strenuous and his success rate was not high. Saint Dao Azura. Elixirs and pills could only increase a Starry Sky Warrior's advancement and cultivation efficiency as well as the success rate. Spirit treasures, on the other hand, could truly increase a Starry Sky Warrior's battle strength. Therefore, if a Starry Sky Warrior had to choose between the two, the majority would definitely choose spirit treasures. Although a low profound level spirit treasure and a high yellow level spirit treasure were only one level apart, their effects and prices were not on the same level at all. A profound level spirit treasure, with the infusion of a Starry Sky Warrior's Star Force, could display some unique skills. Although this Green Rainbow Blade for the time being did not have any unique skills, but looking at its sharp blade, even a Starry Sky Warrior at the peak of the third stage would not dare to rashly take it head-on. 50 million cultivation coins. Someone in the field immediately shouted out a price. Although they knew that it would be difficult to compete against the four major forces, they still wanted to try. 55 million cultivation coins. 60 million cultivation coins. Under the push of the crowd, the price of the Green Rainbow Blade soared all the way. Among them, there was a small sect in the hall that immediately gave up after bidding 70 million cultivation coins. Not to mention that they did not have the financial resources to compete for this kind of treasure. Even if they did, it would instead be a disaster. 100 million cultivation coins. A stern voice rang out, causing everyone to uncontrollably shiver. According to the normal price of a low profound level spirit treasure, it should be around 80 to 100 million cultivation coins. And this bid had reached the peak of the low profound level spirit treasure price in an instant. Qin Feng cast his gaze towards the source of the voice, a middle-aged man from the Lei clan. His face was glowing with vigor, his eyes were like torches, and his body was emitting a bloodthirsty aura. Just now he heard Mu Qingde mention that this person's surname was Nda, and he was an elder of the Lei clan with a different surname. He had killed countless people, and his cultivation had reached half a step into the trance stage, which was only half a step away from the trance stage. He was known as the #1 person under the trance stage in the Tianfeng province. 110 million cultivation coins. Out of everyone's expectations, the Lu clan's Lu Li actually slowly followed up with a bid. 110 million cultivation coins, this was not a small sum. The Lu clan had just spent 95 million cultivation coins, but they did not expect that they still had such financial resources. Chapter 306. While he was hesitating, Qin Feng looked at the little spirit medicine monkey's anxious appearance and followed it again. He didn't know why, but he was filled with trust towards this little spirit medicine monkey. Qin Feng's intuition told him that this little spirit medicine monkey didn't have any bad intentions. After passing through the forest several times, what appeared in front of Qin Feng was an open space. A mountain stream slowly flowed, and at the end of the mountain stream there was a valley. The entrance of the valley was extremely narrow. Moreover, between the entrance of the valley, there were many branches and piles of rocks. It was very hidden. The valley was filled with a thin layer of smoke, and there were faint waves of miserable roars. Listening to the sound, it was like a monkey's howl. The little spirit medicine monkey suddenly stopped and turned around to look at Qin Feng. It used its front paw to point at the valley and nodded, indicating Qin Feng to follow it. Qin Feng hesitated again. If he encountered any danger in the mountain range, he was confident that he could escape. However, in this valley the situation was unknown. Moreover, the entrance of the valley was extremely narrow. If there was any abnormal situation, it would be very difficult to escape. When the little spirit medicine monkey saw that Qin Feng had stopped moving forward, it squeaked again. There was a hint of pleading in its eyes. Its whole body actually lay down, and it put its two front paws together and waved at Qin Feng. Qin Feng saw that this little spirit medicine monkey was like a human kneeling and kowtowing to him. Its mournful voice made one's heart ache. Looking at the little spirit medicine monkey's appearance, Qin Feng felt somewhat uncomfortable. Finally, he made up his mind to enter the valley to investigate. After entering the valley, Qin Feng suddenly had a feeling of being enlightened. Although the entrance of the valley was extremely narrow, after entering the valley, he discovered that there was another world in the valley. The entire valley was filled with mist. The trees were lush and the fragrance of flowers drifted far away. It was like a fairyland. However, waves of miserable monkey howls completely disrupted this beautiful scenery. The little spirit medicine monkey brought Qin Feng and rushed towards the direction of the monkey howls. However, it still didn't dare to get close to Qin Feng and maintained a certain distance from him. Qin Feng followed the little spiritual medicine monkey and turned a few corners. However, he found that under one of the cliffs of the valley, there was a huge rock. Under the huge rock there was a huge figure. Blood had already dyed the ground nearby red. Qin Feng took a closer look. That figure was actually an adult spiritual medicine monkey. However, half of the adult spiritual medicine monkey's body was pressed down by the huge rock. Perhaps because it had lost too much blood, it was on the verge of death. However, it was still letting out mournful cries. The little spiritual medicine monkey looked at the big spiritual medicine monkey and a sad expression appeared on its face. Then it looked at Qin Feng pitifully and squeaked. Qin Feng understood what it meant. It hoped that Qin Feng could save the big spiritual medicine monkey. The spiritual medicine monkey was different from other monkeys. They usually lived alone. They would only be together in pairs when they mated. After the mother monkey gave birth to the baby monkey, she would leave with the baby monkey alone. This strange way of life may have something to do with their nature. If they chose to live in groups like other monkeys, they might not be able to find enough elixirs for their survival. It was obvious that these two monkeys were mother and son or mother and daughter. However, it was unknown why this spiritual medicine monkey was being pressed down by the boulder. Qin Feng took a look at the cliff above the huge rock and suddenly realized something. Above the cliff there were green vines. In the area covered by the green vines, there was a cave entrance that was about the size of the boulder. That cave entrance was about 500 feet from the bottom of the valley. Qin Feng guessed that the big spiritual medicine monkey wanted to enter the cave and wanted to move the boulder at the entrance. However, it was accidentally pressed down by the boulder. Looking at the boulder, it was several feet tall, long and wide. Its weight was estimated to be several 100,000 pounds. Even a rank 3 expert would find it hard to bear such a weight. Looking at the big spiritual medicine monkey, it was at most a rank 3 monster. If it wasn't for the abnormal physique of a monster, it probably wouldn't have survived. Qin Feng arrived in front of the boulder. He secretly circulated his qi and pushed it with all his strength. Unexpectedly, the boulder didn't move at all. After all, Qin Feng was only a rank 2 peak warrior. It was still difficult for him to move this several 100,000-pound boulder. Qin Feng looked at the little spiritual medicine monkey and shrugged his shoulders. He spread out his hands, indicating that there was nothing he could do. The little spiritual medicine monkey looked at Qin Feng and knelt down again. It clasped its front paws and squeaked. Its voice was hoarse and mournful, making people who heard it feel sad. The big spiritual medicine monkey looked at Qin Feng and also cried out in grief. The intelligence of monkeys wasn't low, let alone this kind of monster beast. Their emotions were very similar to humans. Therefore, the two monkeys' miserable appearance made Qin Feng feel very uncomfortable. However, with Qin Feng's strength, it was basically impossible to move this boulder. However, after he glanced at his void stone, he finally looked at the spirit-devouring devil flame in his body. The spirit-devouring devil flame was a strange flame of heaven and earth. It was extremely hot. This kind of boulder should also be able to melt. Qin Feng guessed in his heart. With a thought, Qin Feng wrapped his right palm with the spirit-devouring devil flame. Then, his palm turned into a blade and chopped at the boulder. Under the high temperature of the spirit-devouring devil flame, Qin Feng's right palm left a deep mark on the boulder like a knife cutting through tofu. Got it? Qin Feng secretly rejoiced. When the little spirit medicine monkey saw this scene, it was so happy that it squeaked. Qin Feng used the blazing sun tyrannical art. The star energy in his body also turned into a torrent and entered his dantian for the spirit-devouring devil flame to absorb. Then he moved the spirit-devouring devil flame to his right palm and cut the boulder near the big spiritual medicine monkey. Qin Feng wanted to cut a hole in this boulder and then rescue the big spiritual medicine monkey. This kind of cutting was not easy for Qin Feng. First, using the spirit-devouring devil flame consumed a lot of star energy. Even the powerful blazing sun tyrannical art could not bear it. Second, Qin Feng had to be careful. Because if he wasn't careful, the big spiritual medicine monkey would be burned by the spirit-devouring devil flame and even be burned into nothingness. After cutting for a while, Qin Feng's forehead was covered with sweat. His clothes were also drenched in sweat. The star energy in his body also began to show signs of exhaustion. Qin Feng did not hesitate. He took out a star strength pill from the void stone and threw it into his mouth. The star strength pill turned into pure star energy and continued to pour into his dantian for Qin Feng to use the spirit-devouring devil flame. After an hour of careful work and using up 3 star strength pills, Qin Feng finally cut a hole about 1 meter in diameter in the boulder. Then he carefully moved the big spiritual medicine monkey out. Seeing the big spiritual medicine monkey being rescued, the little spiritual medicine monkey excitedly squeaked. However, it did not dare to come over. It kept looking at Qin Feng and the big spiritual medicine monkey from a distance. Qin Feng looked at the big spiritual medicine monkey's injuries. Luckily, there was a small dent where the big spiritual medicine monkey was crushed. Only its 2 hind legs were badly mangled. However, the injuries were not as serious as he imagined. Qin Feng took out 3 recovery pills and gave them to the big spiritual medicine monkey. The big spiritual medicine monkey looked at Qin Feng gratefully. Without any hesitation, it swallowed the recovery pills. It seemed that Qin Feng's actions had completely won the big spiritual medicine monkey's trust. Qin Feng then helped the big spiritual medicine monkey clean its wounds. He applied some medicinal powder and took out some clean cloth to bandage it. In his previous life, Qin Feng was a Chinese medicine intern. He was very familiar with this kind of work. He did not bring any pain to the big spiritual medicine monkey. After Qin Feng finished all of this, he finally smiled comfortably and said, "Okay, it's okay now. It'll probably recover in a month. Although there may be some sequelae, it shouldn't be a big problem." The big spiritual medicine monkey seemed to understand Qin Feng's words. It nodded and squeaked a few times. Qin Feng looked at its expression and guessed that it was showing some gratitude. The big spiritual medicine monkey stretched out its front paw and waved at the little spiritual medicine monkey. The little spiritual medicine monkey looked at the big spiritual medicine monkey and then looked at Qin Feng. It hesitated for a moment and then slowly walked over. The two spiritual medicine monkeys used their front paws to bow to Qin Feng and squeaked a few times. Their squeaks were full of gratitude. Qin Feng patted the dust off his body and said with a smile, "Okay, since it's okay now, I should go." However, when he turned around and was about to leave, he found that the big spiritual medicine monkey had grabbed him with its front paw and squeaked a few times. Qin Feng looked at the big spiritual medicine monkey in confusion. The big spiritual medicine monkey looked at him and then pointed at the cave on the cliff and squeaked a few more times. "Are you telling me to go in?" Qin Feng asked doubtfully. The big spiritual medicine monkey nodded, but Qin Feng was a bit hesitant. This cave on the cliff didn't look simple. Moreover, it was sealed with a huge rock. It was obviously not natural. It must have been man-made. To be able to do this, it obviously wasn't a mediocre person. If it was like last time in the cave on Luotian Peak and he met an old monster like the Black Flame Evil Sovereign, Qin Feng didn't believe that Feng Qingyang would appear to save his life. The big spiritual medicine monkey seemed to see Qin Feng's apprehension. It pulled Qin Feng's trousers and pointed at the cave on the cliff. It then shook its head, indicating that there was no danger inside. Qin Feng knew from books that spiritual medicine monkeys were a kind of demonic beast with high intelligence. They were naturally suspicious, but once they trusted someone they wouldn't hold anything back. When Qin Feng saved the big spiritual medicine monkey, the little spiritual medicine monkey kept its distance from Qin Feng because it didn't trust him. However, after Qin Feng saved the big spiritual medicine monkey from under the huge rock and treated it, he completely won the trust of the two monkeys. After gaining the trust of the spiritual medicine monkey, the spiritual medicine monkey wouldn't harm people. It was because of this that Qin Feng decided to go into the cave to investigate. If there was any danger, he had a certain amount of confidence that he could escape. After all, his current strength was 100 times stronger than when he entered the cave on Luotian Peak. Qin Feng said to the big spiritual medicine monkey, "Okay, I'll go into the cave to investigate." Early in the morning, in a courtyard of the Mu residence, a figure sat cross-legged on a stone bench. The power of the stars between heaven and earth turned into threads and passed through the youth's skin. They were like knotty little snakes that drilled into the youth's body. At this moment, the power of the stars between heaven and earth was the strongest, and it was also the best time to cultivate. Therefore, Qin Feng woke up early every day and cultivated in the courtyard. After advancing to the second rank, there was no need to spend extra effort in tempering the body and forging the bones. The cleansing of astral force could naturally temper the body of a starry warrior. Hence, starry warriors at the second rank and above basically focused on meditating and training. The higher the level of the star technique, the higher the requirements for the starry warrior's state of mind and the lower the requirements for the physical cultivation of the starry warrior. Of course, the starry warriors who mainly cultivated the physical body were an exception. Under the same cultivation conditions in the outside world, the better the state of mind, the higher the level of comprehension, and the faster the speed of advancement. Qin Feng slowly opened his eyes and exhaled a mouthful of turbid air. He could feel that the vortex of power of the stars in his dantian seemed to have become larger, and the power of the stars in his body was also stronger than before. Facing the intense competition of the coming-of-age ceremony, Qin Feng didn't dare to relax for the past half a month. The second meridian of the Flaming Sun tyrannical mantra was also half opened. He had also secretly practiced the flame fist several times and had already made some progress. "Feng, it seems that your cultivation has improved again." Qin Haoyuan walked out of the house. He had also visited many elders of the Mu clan in the past few days. The elders of the Mu clan had a rather good impression of Qin Haoyuan. However, whether or not he could return to the clan depended on Qin Feng's performance during the coming-of-age ceremony. After Qin Feng left, Mu Hanqing also left with Mu Hanyu, leaving behind the awkward Mu Kuan and Mu Cheng. However, this also made Mu Cheng even angrier. He said fiercely, "Qin Feng, if you meet me during the selection, you're dead meat." Qin Feng looked around and saw that the surroundings were covered by tall trees. The mountain breeze blew, causing the leaves to rustle. After being sent to the Luoxia Mountains in batches from Liujia town, Qin Feng had been traveling alone. It was already the 5th day. Qin Feng couldn't help but smile bitterly. Although he didn't encounter any danger in the past few days, he seemed to be lost in the vast mountains. Due to the dense forest, it was difficult to determine the direction. Now he was walking based on his own feelings. Carefully observing the situation around him, Qin Feng suddenly felt an energy fluctuation coming from afar. This energy fluctuation obviously didn't come from a human. A rank 2 demonic beast, this was Qin Feng's first reaction. That energy fluctuation seemed to be directly approaching Qin Feng's direction. Looking at the situation, it should have discovered Qin Feng's existence. Realizing this, Qin Feng didn't shrink back. Instead he went forward. The aura emitted by this rank 2 demonic beast was equivalent to a rank 2 star warrior. He should be able to fight it. After thinking about it, Qin Feng decided to use this rank 2 demonic beast as his first trial. A black shadow moved quickly among the trees and arrived in front of Qin Feng in the blink of an eye. Qin Feng carefully moved forward. However, the journey was very smooth. It was so smooth that Qin Feng couldn't believe it. The cave wasn't deep. Qin Feng didn't take long to reach the end. However, when Qin Feng looked at the end of the cave, he was stunned. His eyes were filled with shock and his face was filled with disbelief. At the end of the cave there was a skeleton sitting cross-legged. The skeleton was emitting a faint green light. According to Qin Feng's estimation, the skeleton was at least 1,000 years old. However, after 1,000 years the skeleton was still emitting an intense pressure. Although the pressure had decreased a lot with the erosion of time, the majesty of the skeleton didn't change at all. Chapter 307. At the location of the golden grass, a ray of sunlight shone through the gaps between the leaves and shone on the golden spot. Under the sunlight, the grass shone with a faint golden light, showing a kind of exuberant vitality. Pure yang mysterious grass? Qin Feng was surprised. He didn't expect to encounter the pure yang mysterious grass here. He had seen the records of the pure yang mysterious grass in the clan's library. The pure yang mysterious grass was a tier 5 spiritual medicine. It was an extremely peculiar spiritual medicine. Although it was known as a tier 5 spiritual medicine, it was definitely at the peak of tier 5 spiritual medicine. It was even comparable to some low-grade tier 6 spiritual medicine. Although tier 5 spiritual medicine could still be seen in the Tianfeng County, tier 6 spiritual medicine was extremely rare. Spiritual medicine that was comparable to tier 6 spiritual medicine like the pure yang mysterious grass was also extremely rare. If it was sold in the market, it could definitely be sold for a high price. Qin Feng licked his lips and revealed a trace of excitement in his eyes. The pure yang mysterious grass contained pure star energy. Moreover, this star energy was of the yang attribute. It was just right for Qin Feng's domineering and fierce blazing sun tyrannical mysterious grass. With it, not only would the cultivation speed of the blazing sun tyrannical technique be greatly increased, it would also be of great help to Qin Feng when he reached rank 3. When Qin Fengguang smelled the faint medicinal fragrance emitted by the pure yang mysterious grass, he felt a burst of refreshment, and his whole body shivered with extreme comfort. Qin Feng looked at the little spirit medicine monkey gratefully. Maybe the little spirit medicine monkey noticed Qin Feng's disappointed expression in the cave, so it specially brought him to find the pure yang mysterious grass. Qin Feng looked at the pure yang mysterious grass from afar and didn't move to pick it. Usually, there would be demonic beasts in the vicinity of spiritual medicine, especially high-grade spiritual medicine. The aura it emitted would normally attract demonic beasts to the surroundings. Roar Marquis Residence's daughter. A familiar figure appeared in Qin Feng's sight. Rank 3 demonic beast, granite leopard. Qin Feng recognized that this granite leopard was the one that he and Mu Hanyu had fought off together. Looks like I won't be able to get it this time. Qin Feng smiled bitterly. He had personally experienced the strength of the granite leopard. If Mu Hanyu and the others were beside him, he would have the strength to fight. If he was alone, he wouldn't be a match for it. The little monkey looked at Qin Feng with a sly look in its eyes. It stretched out its front paw and waved at Qin Feng as if it was saying goodbye to him. Afterward, the little spiritual medicine monkey dashed out with a whoosh and climbed onto a big tree. Roar! The granite leopard seemed to have noticed the little monkey as well. It let out a low growl as if it was warning the uninvited guest on the tree. Oh. Suddenly, a muffled sound rang out. The little elixir monkey's front paw drew an arc in the air and accurately smashed onto the granite leopard's head. Qin Feng can see clearly that the little spiritual medicine monkey is holding several small stones in its paws and its tail is hanging on a branch. There is a hint of a smile in its squeaking, as if it is taking pleasure in other people's misfortune. Brr. The granite leopard didn't expect that a rank 1 little spiritual medicine monkey would dare to provoke it. Naturally, it was furious and roared at the little spiritual medicine monkey. The sound wave was so strong that even Qin Feng couldn't bear it. The little spiritual medicine monkey almost fell from the roar. Oh. The little spiritual medicine monkey steadied its body and lifted its paw again. The small stone in its paw once again smashed onto the granite leopard. It clapped its paws and laughed again. The granite leopard was completely enraged. It pounced towards the little spiritual medicine monkey on the tree. The little spiritual medicine monkey immediately jumped onto another tree and threw the small stone in its paw at the granite leopard. The granite leopard was careless and was hit again. The granite leopard was furious. Although it didn't feel any pain when the small stone hit its body, its dignity was challenged. It recklessly chased after the little spiritual medicine monkey. The monkey and the leopard chased each other and disappeared from Qin Feng's sight in a moment. Qin Feng knew that the little spiritual medicine monkey was deliberately teasing the granite leopard so that he could pick the pure yang mysterious grass. He gratefully looked towards the direction where the little spiritual medicine monkey disappeared. However, he wasn't worried about the little spiritual medicine monkey. Although it was only a rank 1 demonic beast, its speed was not slow. It was almost impossible for the granite leopard to catch up with it. Qin Feng quickly rushed to the side of the pure yang mysterious grass. The aroma of the elixir immediately assaulted his nostrils. What a rich medicinal aroma! Qin Feng secretly praised in his heart. He carefully picked the pure yang mysterious grass and stored it in the void stone. Seeing that the pure yang mysterious grass was in his hands, Qin Feng hurriedly left. He didn't know when the granite leopard would come back. If he saw the granite leopard picking the pure yang mysterious grass, it would be a big problem. Not long after Qin Feng left, he heard a loud roar. This roar came from the granite leopard. The granite leopard chased for a long time without any results. It returned unhappily and found that the pure yang mysterious grass had disappeared. It was naturally annoyed and let out a loud roar to vent the anger in its heart. However, the granite leopard didn't dare to be too presumptuous because there were rank 4, rank 5 and even higher demonic beasts in the depths of the mountain range. Haha. Qin Feng heard the granite leopard's roar and looked at the treasured cliff water lotus and pure yang mysterious grass in the void stone. He was extremely excited and laughed out loud. Qin Feng didn't hurry on with his journey. Instead, he cultivated while looking for elixirs. The Sunset Mountain range nurtured a lot of elixirs of heaven and earth. The star energy within the Sunset Mountain range was denser than the outside world. Therefore, it was quite beneficial for cultivation. Without the little spiritual monkey's help, Qin Feng didn't have any big harvest in terms of elixirs. He only found 1 rank 3 elixir and 3 rank 2 elixirs. However, these elixirs were no longer attractive to him. Although there was a faint feeling of a breakthrough, Qin Feng didn't force it. He just broke through not long ago. If he forced it, it would easily cause the star energy to be unstable and his foundation to be unstable. This wasn't something he wanted to see. Qin Feng didn't deliberately rush on with his journey. Therefore, he gradually fell behind the zither conquering the world and the proud world demonic concubine. When he walked out of the Sunset Mountain range, the gentle sunlight made Qin Feng, who had stayed in the dark mountain range for a long time, feel a little dazzling. There was already a large group of young men and women in front of him. They were the Mu Clan's juniors who were participating in this training. These Mu Clan's juniors weren't as glamorous as before. Each and every one of them was covered in dirt. They must have suffered a lot in the mountain range. The familiar faces in the crowd were also present. Mu Hanyu, Mu Hanqing. Looking at these faces, Qin Feng felt very close. With Qin Feng's return, the Mu Clan's juniors who were participating in this training were all present. When he returned to the Mu Clan's martial arts field, Qin Feng heard that 3 of the Mu Clan's juniors had lost their lives in this training. The rest of them more or less suffered some injuries. However, the results of this training were also very obvious. After 2 months of training, everyone's cultivation had more or less increased, especially in terms of actual combat. Mu Chuandao gave a long speech on the stage, causing the young men and women below the stage to feel a little drowsy. There are less than 4 months before the Young Heroes competition. The selection will be held a month later. The 5 selected participants will enter the clan's Star Force room to cultivate. Mu Chuandao lightly said. When the Star Force room was mentioned, the young men and women's spirits were lifted. Their eyes lit up. It seemed that the Star Force room was really attractive to them. But then again, there was no need for the selection. The names of these 5 people could be mentioned easily. As the number 1 expert of the Mu clan's younger generation, Mu Hanyu was definitely one of the 5. Mu Kuan and Mu Cheng were the 2nd and 3rd place respectively in the last human competition. There was no need to doubt their strength. The only suspense was the last 2 spots, but everyone thought that Qin Feng and Mu Sheng had a higher chance. However, there were still a few troublesome characters in the last batch. Before the selection ended, no one could say for sure if a dark horse would appear from somewhere. When Qin Feng returned to the courtyard, Qin Haoyuan and his wife were not there. After returning to the room, Qin Feng changed and specially put a few more sets of clothes into the void stone. The young man sat cross-legged on the bed with his eyes slightly closed. The flaming sun tyrannical art automatically circulated. The star force energy between heaven and earth also surged into Qin Feng's body. After sitting cross-legged for 2 hours, a light bang sound was heard from Qin Feng's body. He opened his eyes and a trace of a bitter smile appeared on his face. You failed. Qin Feng wanted to break through the 6th meridian of the flaming sun tyrannical art, but he didn't succeed. However, he didn't expect to be able to break through just now. So, he only smiled bitterly and didn't show any signs of discouragement. In the past few days, other than cultivating, Qin Feng also strolled around Soaring Dragon City. However, the place he strolled the most was still the southern trading market. Although Qin Feng rarely made a purchase, he also saw many rare treasures in the trading market. His knowledge increased a lot. Because he strolled around the trading market a lot, the people in the trading market also became familiar with Qin Feng. Qin Feng strolled slowly in the trading market. The flow of people in the trading market was still bustling with activity as usual. He cast his gaze on the items on the counter of the trading market and continuously calculated in his heart. Now he also had some cultivation coins in his void stone. It was just that he hadn't encountered an item that was to his liking for the time being. After strolling around the trading market twice, Qin Feng's gaze was attracted by a section of sword tip at the corner of a shop. Pointing at the section of sword tip, Qin Feng said to the shop assistant, "Take it out and let me see." The shop assistant knew Qin Feng's identity and didn't dare to be negligent. He respectfully handed over the section of sword tip to Qin Feng. Qin Feng took the section of sword tip. That section of sword tip was approximately 3 inches long. It was rusty and emitted an ancient aura. With a single glance, he knew that it was an ancient item. When he took the section of sword tip in his hand, Qin Feng felt that the strange rune in his hand gave off a trace of extremely faint heat. If not for Qin Feng's extreme sensitivity, he almost wouldn't have been able to detect this slight change. This was the second time the rune in his hand reacted. This made Qin Feng's mind move. He asked, "What is the origin of this section of sword tip?" The shop assistant said with a trace of fawning smile, "Young Master Mu, according to the appraisal of our appraisal master, this section of sword tip is said to be a section of sword tip from several thousand years ago. It was picked up by a woodcutter when he went up the mountain to collect firewood." Every shop in the trading market had a senior appraisal master. These masters' cultivation might not be very high, but their eyesight was very sharp. They were very proficient in appraising treasures. Qin Feng also couldn't bear the provocation of Mu Lian and Mu Yan. "Brat, you're very arrogant. Don't think that you can be so arrogant just because you defeated Mu Xiang." Mu Lian said fiercely. "Brother Lian, why are you talking so much nonsense with him? Just teach him a lesson and let him know how powerful we are." Mu Yan said from the side. Both of their strengths were at the peak of the early second order. Their battle prowess was even higher than Mu Xiang's. Therefore, the two of them were confident that taking care of Qin Feng was an easy matter. The light of the stars on their bodies flickered. They spread out to the left and right and surrounded Qin Feng. Qin Feng took a deep breath. The flaming sun tyrant art in his body circulated and the star power also condensed in his palm. Mu Lian and Mu Yan both took a step forward and rushed towards Qin Feng at almost the same time. At the same time, the fierce wind from their palms and fists also greeted Qin Feng. The moment the two of them attacked, their peak of the early second order was also vividly displayed. Their attacks were abnormally fierce, wanting to take down Qin Feng in a short period of time. The attacks of the two of them also made Qin Feng hold his breath. However, Qin Feng did not panic too much. The willow fist that had already formed an instinctive reaction was also displayed and neutralized the attacks of the two of them. Bang! Bang! In the blink of an eye, the three of them exchanged several blows and the low sounds of fists and palms colliding continuously filled the air. The overwhelming victory that Mu Lian and Mu Yan had imagined did not appear. Instead, in the battle between the three of them, a single careless move would cause them to fall into a dangerous situation. Qin Feng's willow fist was inferior to Qin Haoyuan's. That kind of method of using gentleness to turn strength into strength made Mu Lian and Mu Yan feel like they had nowhere to exert their strength. Besides, the two of them also felt that the star power coming from Qin Feng's body was extremely domineering and fierce. If they were not careful, they would be shaken to the point that their blood and qi would be in turmoil. Diamond Finger, Two Fingers Piercing Stone. Gale Palm Move. Diamond Finger was a star technique of the intermediate quality of the yellow rank and a fierce finger technique. Gale palm was a star technique of the intermediate quality of the yellow rank and was known for its palms. How much is it? Qin Feng asked calmly while weighing the tip of the sword. 20,000 mystic coins. The shop assistant said with a smile. What? 20,000 mystic coins? Although it was a spiritual treasure from thousands of years ago, it was only a sword tip after all, and there was no spirituality in it at all. Hence, it could only be kept as a collection at home. Although Qin Feng could afford 20,000 mystic coins, it made him feel like he was being cheated. Mr. Mu, our appraiser said that this sword tip has a long history and there should be something extraordinary about it, the shop assistant explained. After taking out most of the mystic coins from the void stone, Qin Feng threw it to the shop assistant with a heartache and put the sword tip away in the void stone. He said, "You guys really know how to do business. Such a small sword tip is worth 20,000 mystic coins." If not for the reaction of the rune in his hand, Qin Feng might not have been willing to buy the sword tip. Just as Qin Feng was about to leave, someone said, "Brother, please hold on." If not for the reaction of the rune in his hand, Qin Feng might not have been able to buy the sword tip. Chapter 308. After the coming-of-age ceremony, Qin Feng's life became extremely comfortable. He lived a happy and harmonious life with Qin Haoyuan and his wife in the courtyard. In terms of cultivation, Qin Feng was heavily nurtured by the clan as he won the coming-of-age ceremony. He no longer needed to search for elixirs by himself. Every month he could receive 5 Strength of Stars pills, 1 3rd-grade elixir, and 10 2nd-grade elixirs from the clan's elixir room. This kind of treatment also made the other younger generation of the Mu clan jealous. The elixirs in the world were divided into 9 grades. The 1st grade was the lowest and the 9th grade was the highest. The higher the grade of the elixir, the more energy it contained. It was more helpful to the cultivation of starry warriors. However, the consumption of elixirs depended on the cultivation of the starry warriors. For a starry warrior like Qin Feng who had just reached the 2nd grade, the 3rd grade elixir was his limit. If he consumed any higher grade elixir, he might explode and die from the enormous energy contained in the elixir. With the help of the elixirs, Qin Feng's originally weak strength had completely stabilized at the initial 2nd grade. Under Qin Feng's perseverance, the 3rd meridian of the blazing sun tyrant secret art was finally opened. The star energy in his body was further strengthened. Although he had only opened 3 meridians, Qin Feng could clearly feel that the star energy in his body had some qualitative changes. Starry warriors who had the same amount of star energy as him were definitely not his match. This was the effect of the blazing sun tyrant secret art, strengthening the star energy. Qin Feng was looking forward to cultivating the blazing sun tyrant secret art to great success. At that time his strength would definitely rise to a great height. However, Qin Feng had also slightly reduced the intensity of his cultivation. After all, alternating between tension and relaxation was the way of martial arts. If he forced himself to cultivate, it would easily cause some irreparable damage to his body. Therefore, in his free time he would usually stroll around Soaring Dragon City. He especially liked to look at those rare treasures in the market square and auction house. In the south of Soaring Dragon City was the largest market square in the city. There were crooks and honest people mixed in there. The situation was extremely complicated. However, although the situation was complicated, Soaring Dragon City was the foundation of Mu Clan after all. Therefore, the public security of Soaring Dragon City had always been good. Therefore, there were no incidents of forced buying and selling, fighting and robbery in the trading market. Moreover, the Mu clan's businesses were also located in this market. Moreover, those who were able to establish themselves in this market were not ordinary people. Therefore, this market had always been safe and sound. In the market square, as long as there was a need, any item could be traded. Numinous treasures, spiritual herbs, star techniques, and even rare cultivation methods had all appeared in the market. Therefore, the market attracted a large number of people, and there was an endless stream of people. Qin Feng looked at the marketplace along the street with interest, and a fiery expression also appeared in his eyes. The items that were being sold in these markets made his heart beat faster. After turning the corner of the street, a rather large trading pavilion with 4 floors appeared in front of Qin Feng. The signboard at the entrance of the pavilion was engraved with 3 large red words: Hidden Treasure Pavilion. Qin Feng hesitated for a moment, but still slowly walked in. After entering the Hidden Treasure Pavilion, the crowd inside was beyond Qin Feng's expectations. Every counter was filled with a dazzling array of items, and there were so many people in front of the counters that Qin Feng's eardrums were greatly affected by the noise. Qin Feng looked at the items on the counters. There were spiritual herbs, star techniques, numinous treasures, and many other treasures that he had never seen before, which made him extremely tempted. All of a sudden, several items that resembled stones on a counter caught Qin Feng's attention. Void stone. It was an item that was forged by soul masters using a special material. Although it was just a small stone, the space inside was extremely large and could store a large number of items. The void stone was also equivalent to a numinous treasure. As long as the owner dripped blood on it, it would be able to integrate into the palm of the owner and be able to store items according to the owner's thoughts. It was extremely magical. Speaking of the void stone, it had to be mentioned about its creator, soul masters. Soul masters were a special profession in Star Land. Those who could become soul masters were also people with extraordinary abilities. Everyone was made up of a body and a soul. The so-called soul, to put it bluntly, was actually a kind of perception of the outside world. It was a consciousness that absolutely could not separate from the body and exist independently. The soul had spirituality and was divided into 5 grades: ordinary grade, rare grade, spiritual grade, sacred grade, and emperor grade. 99.9% of the people in the star continent had common grade souls. However, there were some lucky people who could reach rare grade souls. As for spirit grade souls, they were 1 in 10,000. As for saint grade and emperor grade souls, they were almost extinct. The higher the spirituality, the higher the talent for cultivation, and the more effective it would be to cultivate. Of course, the spirituality of the soul only determined the cultivation talent of Starland warriors, but it would not ultimately determine the cultivation of Starland warriors. There was no lack of people with lower spirituality but high cultivation. Soul masters were people who specialized in cultivating their own souls. Soul masters didn't cultivate the power of the stars between heaven and earth. Instead, they cultivated the power of their will through their powerful souls. This was called the power of the soul, and belonged to a type of energy that was different from the power of the stars. Soul masters were divided into 7 levels: soul forger, soul shaper, soul refiner, soul creator, soul ancestor, soul elder, and soul sage. The conditions to become a soul master were extremely harsh, but the first condition was that one's strength had to reach the 3rd rank and the spirituality of the soul had to reach the spiritual grade. This meant that as long as one was a soul master, even if it was the lowest rank soul forger, one would at least be a rank 3 powerhouse. The terrifying thing about soul masters was that the spirituality of an ordinary person's soul could not be changed, but the spirituality of a soul master's soul was an exception. Some soul masters could change the spirituality of their soul through their own cultivation. The higher the cultivation, the easier it was to increase the spirituality of one's soul, and the increase in spirituality of one's soul could increase one's cultivation. Therefore, soul masters were a group of people with extremely powerful abilities on Starland. Generally speaking, when one became a soul master, they would also be a tyrannical Starland warrior. Soul cultivators were able to create spirit treasures and weapons like space stones. They were also able to create high-grade pills and set up all sorts of high-grade formations. For this reason, soul cultivators were an extremely respected profession on the continent. Void stones refined by soul masters were divided into 3 grades: high, middle, and low. A low-grade void stone space was the size of a house, while a middle and high-grade void stone space was 10 times larger. However, a void stone space could only store inanimate objects. If a person wanted to be stored in a void stone, they would have to become a corpse. During the coming-of-age ceremony, Mu Li's azure rune sword and Mu Sheng's disc blade shield were both taken out from a void stone. At that time, Qin Feng was a bit curious as to where the 2 spirit treasures came from. However, this type of void stone was extremely expensive, and it was not something that ordinary people could afford. The shop assistant behind the counter saw that Qin Feng was dressed decently and seemed to be interested in void stones. After being immersed in the market for a long time, he still had a discerning eye. He hurriedly nodded with a smile and said, "Young master, what do you need?" "How much is this low-grade void stone?" Qin Feng casually pointed at one of the black stones on the counter and asked. "A low-grade void stone, 150,000 cultivation coins. You can also use items of similar value to exchange for it." The shop assistant respectfully replied. "What?" Qin Feng involuntarily exclaimed. This exclamation attracted the attention of the surrounding crowd. Qin Feng then realized that he had lost his composure and his small face couldn't help but turn red. 150,000 cultivation coins was equivalent to the price of 10 stalks of 3rd-grade spirit medicine. He didn't expect a low-grade void stone to be so expensive. Qin Feng bitterly smiled and helplessly shook his head. Although he could now receive some cultivation coins from the clan every month, these cultivation coins were like a drop in the ocean compared to the void stone's price. "I'll buy this void stone." A pleasant voice like a small stream suddenly sounded behind Qin Feng. At the same time, a jade-like hand casually threw a bag of cultivation coins onto the counter. Qin Feng turned his head and saw that two pretty girls had unknowingly appeared beside him. The slightly taller girl was wearing a purple dress that wrapped around her alluring figure. Her alluring curves were enough to cause one's imagination to run wild. Although she was dressed as a girl, the girl's entire body emitted a heroic aura that wasn't inferior to a man's. Her charming face was filled with a threatening chill. She was Mu Hanyu, the one who helped Qin Feng out of his predicament the other day. The other girl was wearing a yellow robe. She was slightly younger, but her lovable chest emitted a trace of youthful temptation. Her youthful face flashed with a pair of bright big eyes and was extremely adorable. Her delicate face revealed traces of quickness and her ponytail hung down to her waist. Her entire body emitted the vigor and vitality of a young girl. She was the yellow-robed girl who was defeated by Qin Feng in the coming-of-age ceremony, Mu Hanqing. The one who bought the void stone was Mu Hanqing. The little girl cast a glance at Qin Feng and a trace of craftiness flashed across her eyes. Rich and overbearing indeed. Looking at Mu Hanqing's extravagant spending and then looking at his own poor appearance, Qin Feng sighed in his heart. At the same time, he was somewhat curious as to what grade of void stone the two girls were carrying. The two girls should be carrying mid-grade void stones. Qin Feng guessed inwardly as he couldn't discern the grade of void stones in Mu Hanyu and Mu Hanqing's hands. There was an advantage of void stones. If the owner didn't use his intent to force it out, it would only drop out after the owner died. The disadvantage of void stones was that a person could only store one void stone in their body. Moreover, void stones couldn't store living things and couldn't store another void stone into another void stone. Within a stone. The price of void stones was extremely frightening. Other than those major sects and major forces, ordinary people couldn't afford it. Even Hidden Treasure Pavilion, the largest trading place in Soaring Dragon City, didn't have any ready-made mid-grade void stones and had to be customized. The void stones displayed on the counter were all low-grade void stones. Mid-grade void stones were shockingly priced at 3 million cultivation coins. High-grade void stones were shockingly priced at 100 million cultivation coins. Because the process of manufacturing mid-grade and high-grade void stones was more complicated, the price didn't simply increase with the increase in space. Big Sister Hanyu, Cousin Hanqing. Qin Feng greeted the two girls. When he looked at Mu Hanqing, he recalled the embarrassing scene in the clan competition and couldn't help but sneak a glance at Mu Hanqing's small chest. "Where are you looking, little pervert?" Mu Hanqing glared at him and berated. However, her angry appearance had a different flavor. "I didn't expect your experience to be so bumpy. However, you are still better than me. In any case, you have a father and a mother. As for me, I don't even remember what my biological parents look like." Mu Hanqing also thought about her background. Her eyes couldn't help but turn red and a layer of mist condensed. Although the Mu clan had taken good care of her, there was still a fragile and soft nerve in the little girl's heart. Only now did Qin Feng know that when Mu Hanqing was 2 years old, the whereabouts of her parents were unknown. Later on, it was thanks to Elder Mu Huaiji that she didn't have to wander the streets. Due to Elder Mu Huaiji's doting and Mu Hanyu's protection, no one in the clan dared to bully her. Although Mu Hanqing appeared to be witty and willful, there was still a knot in her heart that hadn't been untied. "Actually, my current parents aren't my real parents," Qin Feng secretly said in his heart. When he thought about his own background, he couldn't help but sigh. Qin Feng lightly patted the young girl's shoulder and comforted her. "Don't worry, your parents will definitely come back to find you." "Really?" Mu Hanqing glanced at Qin Feng and said softly, "Little pervert, thank you." Qin Feng said, "What's there to thank me for? It's already late, you should rest early. We still have to hurry on with our journey tomorrow." "What about you?" Mu Hanqing asked in a gentle voice. It was as though she had turned into a different person, causing Qin Feng to feel uncomfortable. "Demonic beasts roam around at night. We need someone to keep a lookout." Qin Feng smiled and said, "It's fine, you should quickly go to sleep." After speaking, Qin Feng began to patrol by the side. Mu Hanqing lay down at the resting area at the side. She glanced at the thin and tall figure patrolling the surroundings and slowly closed her eyes. The next day, the early morning sun shone through the leaves and turned into golden specks that landed on Mu Hanqing's face. It made her beautiful face look even more exquisite and adorable. Mu Hanqing opened his slightly hazy eyes. What entered his eyes was a smiling face that was as warm as the spring breeze. Eat. Qin Feng smiled and passed over 2 wild fruits. Although Qin Feng was full of energy, Mu Hanqing could still see a trace of fatigue in his deep black eyes. Mu Hanqing took the fruits and said softly, "Thank you. After eating we will continue on our journey and look for Big Sister Hanyu." Qin Feng took a bite of the wild fruit in his hand and said. Mu Hanqing nodded and didn't say anything. After a night of recovery, Mu Hanqing's injuries weren't completely healed. However, it didn't affect her ability to walk. The two of them followed the traces of the battle and searched. Although they didn't find Mu Hanyu's whereabouts, they didn't find any traces of Mu Hanyu's injuries either. This made the two of them feel more at ease. My beautiful immortal wife. After the two of them traveled for a day, they finally sensed waves of star energy coming from the front. From the fluctuations of star energy, they could tell that there was an intense battle going on ahead. Qin Feng and Mu Hanqing glanced at each other before they also rushed forward. Through the gaps between the trees, the two of them saw 3 familiar figures. Those 3 figures were Mu Hanyu, Mu Kuan, and Mu Cheng. At this moment, the 3 of them were looking ahead with grave expressions. Rank 3 Demonic Beast, Granite Leopard. Qin Feng recognized the demonic beast in front of the 3 of them. It's the one that Big Sister Hanyu and I encountered the other day. Mu Hanqing said in surprise. Granite Leopard, as the name implied, was a demonic beast with an extremely tough body. It was also a demonic beast with terrifying combat strength. A rank 3 demonic beast was equivalent to a rank 3 star warrior. According to common sense, Mu Hanyu and the other 2 shouldn't be a match for the Granite Leopard. Fortunately, this Granite Leopard was a demonic beast that had just advanced to rank 3. Its aura hadn't completely stabilized yet. The Granite Leopard stared at the 3 of them. Its eyes flashed with cold light from time to time. The Granite Leopard patterns on its body flickered with the luster of star energy. Its entire body emitted an astonishing aura that pressured the 3 of them. Chapter 309. Brat, I've underestimated you. No wonder you could defeat Mu Lian and Mu Yen. Looks like you do have the capital to be arrogant. Mu Li's eyes flashed with an ominous glint. As an outstanding member of the younger generation of the Mu clan, the praise from the elders and the respect from the peers had caused his self-esteem to be extremely high. Now that Qin Feng had made things difficult for him, it was hard for him not to hate him. Sigh. Qin Feng helplessly shook his head. In fact, he did not have the intention to make things difficult for Mu Li. However, this kind of clan's disciples were all proud and arrogant people. It seemed that this grudge had to be formed. However, Qin Feng's sigh turned into ridicule in Mu Li's eyes, causing his heart to be filled with anger. Brat, don't be too arrogant. See how I'll deal with you today. Mu Li puffed out his chest and an incomparably powerful aura was emitted. Qin Feng's expression also became abnormally serious. He felt a kind of anger that came from the boundless ocean. In this anger there was also a trace of arrogance. This kind of state had nothing to do with cultivation. It was related to the feelings and state of mind of a starry star warrior. Qin Feng lightly exhaled. All the star force in his body condensed on his fists. Between his fists, there was a dazzling star force luster that revealed a kind of domineering and ferocious aura. His entire body was like a motionless willow that welcomed the oncoming storm. Looking at the aura emitted by the 2 of them, the crowd was also a little dazed. Although the star force fluctuations emitted by the 2 of them were not worth mentioning in the eyes of true rank 3 powerhouses and above, the aura caused the crowd to be moved. Sea-breaking fist roar of the sea. Following Mu Li's low roar, a fist with a powerful star force whizzed out. It was like the roar of the sea, carrying an indomitable aura as it rushed towards Qin Feng. Mu Lian and the rest watched this scene from below the stage and were somewhat gloating. This brat has really angered Brotherly. He'll be in for it this time. Mu Lian said with a smile as he recalled the scene of him fighting with Mu Li in the past. Now that he thought about it, he still felt a little frightened. Mu Lian had followed Mu Li for so long and understood his character very well. The latter's inner pride was not something he would allow anyone to trample on. Even Mu Sheng, who was Mu Li's rival, did not dare to provoke Mu Li's anger. Yeah, I haven't seen Brotherly so angry in a long time. That kid is dead meat. The rest of the youths nodded in agreement. Brat, if you don't have any other tricks up your sleeves today, then get lost. Mu Li sneered as he sternly said. It's too early for you to be happy. Although Qin Feng's expression was heavy, there was no trace of fear. Raging flame fist, raging flames burning the heavens. With a single punch, Everyone's expression changed. Qin Feng bellowed and suddenly punched out. Originally, he did not want to use the Raging Flame Fist so quickly because the opponent later on might be even stronger than Mu Li. However, with Mu Li's shocking attack, coupled with the fact that his own cultivation was a level higher, if he did not use the Raging Flame Fist, he would not be able to take this move. Boundless Star Force swept out from Qin Feng's right fist. That Star Force was shockingly hot and domineering as it ruthlessly blasted towards Mu Li's fist. The higher the level of the Star Technique, the better the use of Star Force and the ingenuity of the technique, thus making up for the lack of one's own cultivation. Of course, this kind of compensation was based on the premise that the difference in cultivation between the two parties was not too great. If one was a Stage 2 warrior and the opponent was a Stage 2 warrior, one would not be able to defeat the opponent regardless of the level of the Star Technique used. Bang! The two of them collided fiercely in front of everyone's shocked eyes. The violent wind erupted from the point of collision like a storm, and the dust on the entire battle arena was swept clean. The two of them flew out again and barely managed to stand still at the edge of the battle arena. There was a difference in cultivation level between the two of them in the arena, but with the help of the spirit-devouring demonic flames, Qin Feng's muscles, bones, and meridians were far beyond that of ordinary rank 2-star warriors. His own star power carried a trace of scorching sun and domineering aura, which was extremely domineering. Hence, when Qin Feng used his profound grade star technique, he could easily dissolve Mu Li's moves. What star technique is this? How can it be so powerful? This star technique seems to be more powerful than a yellow star technique and has reached the low quality of the profound rank. Impossible, there are only 3 sets of low quality of the profound rank star techniques in the entire clan. How can he have one? The spectators on the spectator stands were all shocked. They could tell that Qin Feng's punch was not simple. Although Qin Haoyuan did not know where his son's star technique came from, he clenched his fists and secretly applauded while his body trembled slightly due to excitement. He never knew that his son actually had such powerful strength. Li Ruoyue, who was at the side, also smiled beautifully. On the high platform, the red-faced old man, the middle-aged bald man, and Mu Chuandao all had a trace of doubt on their faces. The star technique that Qin Feng used just now was a profound rank star technique. It was indeed unbelievable that such a star technique would appear on Qin Feng. Sister Hanyu, this Qin Feng is not simple. He even managed to withstand Mu Li's move. If it were me, I wouldn't have the confidence to do so, said the girl in yellow, who covered her mouth in shock. She initially thought that the only opponents for this round were Mu Sheng and Mu Li. To her surprise, Qin Feng appeared out of nowhere and made her re-evaluate the situation. A trace of astonishment also appeared on Mu Hanyu's cold face. She knew Mu Li's strength very well, but she did not expect Qin Feng to be so strong. It seemed that she had misjudged him this time. Han Qing, if I remember correctly, you might meet one of them in the semi-finals, Mu Hanyu said calmly. Yeah, it seems that none of them are easy to deal with, the girl in yellow said with a nod and pout. However, it's better to meet them than Mu Sheng. I heard that Mu Sheng will advance to the peak of the mid-stage second order soon. That guy is very strong too. The girl in yellow looked at the young man in black in the distance. While everyone was whispering, there was a sudden change on the stage. Kid, it's not that easy to defeat me. Mu Li's right hand shook and a green sword appeared out of thin air. The sword was covered with strange sword runes, and the sword runes emitted a strange aura. Low-grade yellow-ranked spirit treasure, green streak sword. Someone in the spectator stands recognized the name of the green sword. Anything that contained spirituality and star energy could be called a spirit treasure. The spirit treasures in the star continent were divided into 4 grades: heaven, earth, mysterious, and yellow. Each grade was further divided into 3 grades: high, medium, and low. As the spirit treasure's grade increased, when it reached the heaven rank, it would develop a human-like spirit and communicate with its owner's heart, reaching the realm of one with the treasure. It was rumored that above the heaven rank, there was the emperor rank spirit treasure. It was said that it could even transform into a human form and become a mercenary. Can spirit treasures be used in the competition? Qin Haoyuan, who was in the spectator stands, was dissatisfied and protested loudly. There is no rule that states that spirit treasures cannot be used in the competition. Therefore Mu Li did not break the rules, said the red-faced elder in a deep voice. In fact, spirit treasures were allowed in the competition because spirit treasures represented a part of one's strength. This was only an ordinary competition. If spirit treasures were used, it would be easy to accidentally injure or even kill. Therefore no one used spirit treasures in the past few years. Mu Li saw that the red-faced elder did not object to him using spirit treasures. A sinister smile suddenly appeared on his face. Qin Feng watched carefully. You think you can beat me by taking out a piece of scrap metal? Dream on. Qin Feng's face darkened slightly as he coldly shouted. Mu Li's right hand shook and the green streak sword buzzed. A vast star energy burst out from the sword and combined with Mu Li's own star energy, it formed a strong pressure on Qin Feng. Green streak sword, wild wind willow. When Mu Li brandished the cyan vein sword, the star force fluctuations emitted from his body actually formed a star force storm in front of him. The star force storm quickly swept towards Qin Feng and produced waves of suction, as if it wanted to swallow Qin Feng. This green streak sword was a spirit treasure of the lowest grade, but it could still increase one's battle strength. The power it could unleash was also considered shocking in Qin Feng's eyes. Qin Haoyuan and his wife, who were on the viewing platform, felt nervous. The couple no longer cared if Qin Feng would be able to successfully advance. They only hoped that Qin Feng would be able to walk down the stage safely. After all, they only had this one son. Even Qin Haoyuan had to be cautious when facing this wild wind willow move. After all, although low-grade yellow-rank spirit treasures were not rare, it was still a luxury for people like them. Qin Feng coldly snorted. His fist smashed onto the storm of star energy. The storm of star energy actually shattered like a thin film. Shock. Other than shock, there was still more shock. It was hard to believe that Qin Feng could so easily and casually shatter Mu Li's attack. On the stage, Mu Li's face was filled with shock. He could not believe that the full power attack of him and his spirit treasure was so easily shattered by Qin Feng's punch. He cheated. Mu Li loudly shouted. Qin Feng punched out again. There wasn't the slightest bit of fancy moves. Blazing flame fist, blazing flames. The fiery star energy gushed out and instantly engulfed Mu Li. Even the crowd on the viewing platform could feel the scorching aura. Mu Li did not even have time to react before he was sent flying by the fiery power of the stars. He landed about 30 meters away from the stage and he looked as miserable as he could be. When the abilities of both parties were equal, the power of the low-grade profound rank star technique was so terrifying. It was no wonder that a profound rank star technique would cause such a huge uproar in the Fire Dragon dynasty. It could be said that a profound rank star technique could sometimes create a group of experts and revitalize a sect. However, Qin Feng also won by surprise. If Mu Li was not still in shock because of Qin Feng's outburst, he would not have been blasted out of the battle arena by Qin Feng with just a few punches and kicks. Did I win? Qin Feng softly asked the referee at the side. The referee clearly had not recovered from the shock and was at a loss after being asked by Qin Feng. The referee turned to look at the red-faced old man on the viewing platform. When he saw the red-faced old man nodding with a sullen expression, he announced loudly, Qin Feng wins this competition. I didn't expect you to have such a rough experience. However, you are still better than me. At least you have a father and a mother. I can't even remember what my biological parents look like. Mu Hanqing also thought about her background. Her eyes involuntarily reddened as a layer of mist condensed around her. Although the Mu clan had taken good care of her, there was still a fragile and soft nerve in the little girl's heart. Qin Feng finally found out that when Mu Hanqing was 2 years old, her parents' whereabouts were unknown. Later on, it was Elder Mu Huaiji who took her in that prevented her from living on the streets. Due to Elder Mu Huaiji's doting and Mu Hanyu's protection, no one in the clan dared to bully her. Although Mu Hanqing appeared to be mischievous and willful, there was still a knot in her heart that had yet to be untied. Actually, my current parents aren't my real parents, Qin Feng secretly said in his heart. When he thought about his own background, he couldn't help but sigh. Qin Feng lightly patted the young girl's shoulder and comforted her. Don't worry, your parents will definitely come back to look for you. Really? Mu Hanqing glanced at Qin Feng and said softly, Little pervert, thank you. Qin Feng said, What's there to thank me for? It's getting late, you should rest early. We still have to hurry on with our journey tomorrow. What about you? Mu Hanqing asked in a gentle voice. It was as if she had turned into a different person, causing Qin Feng to feel uncomfortable for a moment. Demonic beasts roam about at night. We need someone to keep watch. Qin Feng lightly smiled and said, It's fine, you should quickly go to sleep. After he finished speaking, Qin Feng started patrolling at the side. Mu Hanqing laid down at the resting area at the side. She glanced at the thin and tall figure patrolling the surroundings and slowly closed her eyes. The next day, the morning sun shone through the leaves and turned into golden specks that fell on Mu Hanqing's face. It made her beautiful face look even more exquisite and adorable. On the third day of the Young Heroes competition, Mu Hanyu vs Zheng Jian and Qin Feng vs Song Ping. The curtains of these two exciting matches began under everyone's anticipation. Because there were only 2 matches today and they should be very exciting, the 4 competition stages were removed and an even bigger competition stage was built at the center of the plaza. The final 4 people represented the peak of soaring Dragon City's younger generation. Among them, Mu Hanyu and Song Ping were both at the peak of second-order peak while Zheng Jian was at the half-step form creation realm. However, the most eye-catching one was still Qin Feng. He charged into the top 4 as a dark horse and his strength was merely at the mid-second order small perfection realm. The first match was the finals that everyone thought would be brought forward, Mu Hanyu vs Zheng Jian. Standing on the competition stage, a trace of a smile appeared on Zheng Jian's handsome face. He faintly smiled and said, "Sister Yu, we meet again. I have missed you during this period of time." Mu Hanyu coldly said, "Young Master Zheng, please conduct yourself with dignity." The ice-cold expression on her face became even more intense. Zheng Jian still had a smile on his face and said, "Sister Yu, I believe you also know my feelings for you? Shut up!" Mu Hanyu shouted and sent a palm strike over. Chapter 310. Mu Hanyu and Mu Qing nodded, after which the vigorous star power surged out. Frost technique, iceberg crush. Sea-breaking fist, shocking sea fist. Sky-shattering palm, shaking the heavens. The 3 of them used their best star techniques as soon as they attacked. Faced with such a shocking attack, the granite leopard dared not ignore it even though it had a tough body and strong defensive abilities. The granite leopard roared angrily and gradually formed a massive star power leopard shadow behind it. The star power leopard shadow emitted terrifying waves of star power. That was the special ability of a rank 3 demonic beast. A rank 3 demonic beast was equivalent to a rank 3 star warrior. The greatest characteristic of a rank 3 star warrior was the ability to condense star power into a physical form and attack. Condensing star power into a physical form would increase the power of their attacks by several times. That was the reason why a rank 3 star warrior could become a powerhouse. The gradually solidifying Star Force leopard leaped up and fiercely collided with the 3-star Force cheese. A powerful shockwave spread out in all directions from the collision, sweeping away the withered leaves, branches and stones on the ground. The surrounding ancient trees were also shaken to the point of collapse. The bodies of Mu Hanyu and the other 2 trembled as they were sent flying. Granite Leopard was also sent flying by the impact of the air wave. The granite leopard turned its body and landed steadily in the air before standing still. Clearly, there was a huge difference between a rank 3-star warrior and a rank 2-star warrior. The 3 rank 2-star warriors' full-force attacks did not cause any substantial damage to the granite leopard. The granite leopard had just advanced to rank 3. That was also the reason why Qin Feng and his family were so hopeless when facing the rank 3 Tongwen. Tongwen did not even use any star techniques and merely punched Qin Haoyuan, who was at the peak of rank 2, to immobilize him. Looking at the 3 of them who were in a sorry state, the granite leopard sneered. At rank 3, demonic beasts were not low in spiritual intelligence. The granite leopard rushed towards the 3 people who had fallen, and its right claw viciously slapped towards Mu Cheng, who had fallen at the front. If this claw were to land on Mu Cheng's body, death would be Mu Cheng's only fate. Mu Cheng's expression changed drastically. He did not hold back at all as he unleashed all of the star energy in his body. He condensed many star energy barriers in front of him. He wanted to delay for a while and wait for Mu Hanyu and Mu Kuan to rescue him. But Mu Cheng's thinking was a little naive. The star power barrier he created was like an empty shell. It did nothing to stop the granite leopard. Just as Mu Cheng's face was filled with despair, a ball of black flames shot over. The scorching high temperature caused the granite leopard's body to stop. Just now, it had also witnessed the power of this black flame and was very fearful of this strange flame. Mu Cheng also took advantage of the moment when the granite leopard paused to stomp on the ground. Borrowing the force of the stomp, he retreated a few steps. Mu Hanyu and Mu Kuan also sent out a few palm strikes. The swift and fierce palm shadows enveloped granite leopard's body. Roar! An astonishing roar shattered all the palm imprints. That formless sound wave sent Mu Hanyu and Mu Kuan flying. Mu Hanyu, Mu Kuan, and Mu Cheng gathered together once again. Mu Hanyu looked at the granite leopard with a grave expression and said, "The granite leopard's body is tough. We can only find its weak points and focus our attacks on them. Only then will we have a chance to kill it." Its neck should be its weak point. Attack its neck. Mu Kuan was more knowledgeable. In the previous exchange, he was able to identify the granite leopard's weak point. As soon as he finished speaking, the three of them attacked at the same time. 3 streams of star energy shot towards the granite leopard's neck. The dense star energy tore through the air and actually brought about a sonic boom. The granite leopard leaped and nimbly dodged 2 of the streams of star energy. In the end, it did not manage to dodge the 3rd stream of star energy and heavily struck its neck. The granite leopard's huge body finally fell from the sky and staggered a few steps back. The granite leopard let out a few more roars as its anger surged out. The loud roars caused the entire mountain forest to tremble. Some of the low-level demonic beasts felt as if their guts were being torn apart and they hurriedly fled in all directions. The sound waves assaulted everyone's eardrums, causing them to feel waves of pain. Qin Feng, quickly think of a way. Mu Hanqing shook Qin Feng's arm and said, "There's no hurry." Wait. Qin Feng stared at the granite leopard through the gaps in the forest and said. Previously, he had taken the opportunity to reach an agreement with Mu Hanqing. If he were to attack, Mu Hanqing would have to agree to 2 of his conditions. First, Mu Hanqing would not tell anyone about the black flames. Second, Mu Hanqing would not allow herself to call him little pervert. Mu Hanqing had no choice but to agree. Behind the granite leopard, a leopard image with star energy that was even larger than before gradually formed. The dense star energy churned on the surface of the leopard image, and the star energy on the surface of the leopard image became even brighter. The entanglement between the 3 of them had infuriated the granite leopard. This anger caused the granite leopard to use its full strength, wanting to kill the 3 of them in one fell swoop. Don't let the leopard image solidify. At this moment, an ice-cold bronze figure rushed out from the forest and shot toward the granite leopard. As he brandished his fists, the wind from his fists brought along a tyrannical and ferocious star energy that enveloped the demonic beast. After being reminded by that figure, Mu Hanyu and the other 2 also attacked the granite leopard at the same time. Boom! The granite leopard roared and the star energy leopard image collided with the attacks of the 4 of them. The huge tremor caused mud to scatter all over the sky as though it was raining mud. At the point of impact, a huge mud pit that was dozens of feet wide was blasted out. The trees in the surroundings were all broken by the impact. Under this kind of tremor, the figure was also sent flying. He retreated dozens of feet before stabilizing his body. Qin Feng. Mu Hanyu said in surprise. That bronze figure was Qin Feng. When he saw the 3 of them watching the star energy leopard image solidify, he couldn't help but circulate the profound spirit copper body technique to stop them. This also caused the granite leopard to be unable to launch its full-strength attack. Qin Feng didn't reply. Instead, he calmed down his surging blood and qi from the impact. Even though his strength had increased a lot in the past few days and he had circulated the profound spirit copper body technique, the impact from before was still too much for him to bear. The granite leopard roared again and again. It had already sunk into an extreme frenzy. Even though it had just advanced to the 3rd rank, the demonic beast's special physique and strong defensive ability made its combat ability comparable to a starry warrior at the peak of the 3rd rank. Qin Feng calmed his mind and the fiery star energy quickly condensed in his hands. The star energy's luster flickered on his hands. The luster became brighter and brighter. In the end, it actually formed a ball of light that looked like a dancing flame. Raging flame fist, raging flame overflowing sky. An astonishing wave of star energy erupted from the ball of light and swept toward the granite leopard with a high temperature. When the star energy's wave engulfed the granite leopard, Qin Feng shouted, "Attack!" Mu Hanyu and the other 2 also understood his intentions and took out their own ultimate techniques. Frost arts, freezing heaven and earth. Sea-breaking fist, splitting wind and waves. Sky-shaking palm shaking the clear sky. The dazzling star energy tore through the sky and ruthlessly struck the granite leopard that was entangled with Qin Feng. The powerful granite leopard was sent flying by the joint attack of the 4 people. It let out a low roar and its body became slightly sluggish. Under the joint attack of the group, the 3rd-rank granite leopard couldn't withstand it and finally showed some injuries. The granite leopard let out a few low roars at Qin Feng and the others. After hesitating for a moment, it finally retreated and jumped into the forest. After a few leaps, it disappeared without a trace. A 3rd-rank demonic beast's intelligence wasn't low. It knew that the 4 people in front of it were difficult to deal with. Moreover, there was an expert using black flames hiding in the surroundings. After considering for a long time, the granite leopard still chose to retreat. However, Qin Feng and the others didn't have any intention of pursuing it. A third-rank demonic beast was indeed too strong for them. Even though they could repel it, it wasn't easy to kill it. Sister Hanyu? Mu Hanqing also walked out from the forest at the side. Qing, it's good that you are fine. Mu Hanyu saw that Mu Hanqing was safe and sound and felt relieved. She turned her head and said to Qin Feng, you came at the right time. If it wasn't for you, we would be in danger. Indeed, if Qin Feng didn't arrive in time, the three of them wouldn't be in a good situation. Qin Feng smiled and said, Sister Hanyu is too polite. Qin Feng just happened to pass by. Did you come with Qing? Mu Hanyu saw Qin Feng and Mu Hanqing together and asked curiously. It was just a coincidence that I met Hanqing. Qin Feng said indifferently. Cousin Qin Feng, did you follow behind us because you were afraid? Mu Qing saw the two women smiling at Qin Feng and his face turned gloomy. His words were filled with ridicule. Mu Qing, don't forget that without Qin Feng's help, would you be able to repel the granite leopard? Mu Hanqing was a little unhappy when she saw Mu Qing mocking Qin Feng, especially since Qin Feng had saved Mu Qing earlier. She didn't say anything because Qin Feng didn't allow her to reveal the secret of the black flame. Would he be able to do it without us? Mu Qing didn't think that Qin Feng was the one who repelled the granite leopard. Mu Hanyu didn't say anything as she looked at Qin Feng with a puzzled expression. Sister Yu, what's wrong? Mu Kuan asked softly. I'm thinking about the senior who used the black flame to help us. Who is he? Mu Hanyu glanced at Qin Feng. She had guessed that the senior was Qin Feng, but she immediately shook her head and denied her guess. She knew that the flame wasn't an ordinary item. How was it possible for Qin Feng to control it? She wasn't the only one who didn't believe it. No one in the Fire Dragon dynasty would believe it. Qin Feng, did you see anyone else nearby? Mu Hanyu asked softly. Oh, before Hanqing and I came, we saw a streak of gray. Qin Feng took a look and saw that there was an extra Star Force pellet and a bottle of recovery pellet. This kind of recovery pellet could heal wounds quickly and replenish a small amount of Star Force. It was much better than ordinary golden sore ointment and stasis dispelling powder. It was also an expensive elixir. Thank you, Elder Mu. Qin Feng kept the elixir into the void stone and signed his name on the register. He thanked Mu Huagong. It was already very rare for Mu Huagong to give him an extra Star Force pellet, let alone a bottle of recovery pellet. Hee little guy, your strength has increased by quite a bit. Mu Huagong said with a smile. He was quite fond of Qin Feng. This little guy didn't have the arrogance and complacency of an ordinary youth. He was polite and kept a low profile. Moreover, his talent was quite good. Isn't it all thanks to Elder Mu's elixir? Qin Feng said with a smile. Haha, you little guy. Flattery always worked. Qin Feng's words made Mu Huagong feel extremely comfortable. If Qin Feng wasn't a seedling that the clan focused on nurturing, Mu Huagong would have wanted to groom him as his successor and impart his refining skills to him. Qin Feng was a traditional Chinese medicine doctor in his previous life and was rather proficient in pharmacology. If he became a pharmacist, he would definitely be extremely outstanding. However, in order to prevent good seedlings from indulging in refining medicine and neglecting their star techniques, the clan prohibited talented seedlings from refining medicine. Besides, Qin Feng felt that refining medicine was indeed very energy-consuming. Hence, he gave up on the idea of becoming a pharmacist. After Qin Feng bade farewell to Mu Huagong, he didn't return to the courtyard. Instead, he walked towards the library in the East Court. In the past few days, apart from the necessary cultivation, Qin Feng would often go to the library to read some books. Of course, among the cultivation methods and star techniques in the library, he was only interested in the Heaven's Ward sword technique now. The rest were no longer attractive to him. He didn't go there to cultivate his star techniques. Instead, he went there to read the books at the north end of the first floor of the library. It was only when he accidentally flipped through the books that he discovered that there were many valuable books in there. When Qin Feng rushed to the library, there were already many disciples of the clan flipping through the cultivation methods and star techniques on the first floor of the library. After all, not everyone could learn the superior quality star techniques on the second floor and the profound quality star techniques on the third floor. Hence, they settled for the next best thing and chose the inferior quality star techniques on the first floor. On the third day of the Young Heroes competition, Mu Hanyu would be going against Zheng Jian while Qin Feng would be going against Song Ping. Everyone was looking forward to the two exciting matches. Due to the fact that there were only 2 matches today and they were supposed to be very exciting, the 4 competition platforms were removed and a larger one was built in the middle of the square. The last 4 people represented the top standards of the younger generation in Soaring Dragon City. Among them, Mu Hanyu and Song Ping were both at the peak of the second order, while Zheng Jian had reached the half-step to form creation. However, the most eye-catching one was Qin Feng, who made it to the top 4 like a dark horse. He was only at the initial mastery of the second order. The first match was the finals that everyone thought would be brought forward, Mu Hanyu versus Zheng Jian. Standing in the competition platform, a smile appeared on Zheng Jian's handsome face as he said calmly, "Sister Yu, we meet again. I've been missing you all this time." Mu Hanyu said coldly, "Mr. Zheng, please conduct yourself with dignity." The coldness on her face became more and more intense. Zheng Jian was still smiling as he said, "Sister Yu, I believe you know how I feel about you." "Shut up." Mu Hanyu yelled as she smacked him with her palm. "Oh no, Sister Hanyu has been schemed against." Qin Feng thought to himself when he saw this scene from the main guest platform. When 2 Stardust warriors were fighting, especially experts who were close in strength, they had to be calm. However, Zheng Jian had disturbed Mu Hanyu's state of mind first and could be said to have gained the upper hand. This person is so sinister. I have to be wary of him in the future, Qin Feng thought to himself. Shameless fellow, Mu Hanqing said angrily with a look of disdain on her face. Mu Hanyu's pair of crystal-clear hands glowed with a white light that became more and more intense. There were actually some crystal-like objects in her hands. The icy cold star power caused the temperature of the competition platform to drop significantly as the sharp wind from her palm shrouded Zheng Jian's body. Chapter 311. Moonlight shone on the earth at night, covering the entire Sunset Mountain range with a layer of silver gauze. Somewhere in the Sunset Mountain range, a bonfire burned fiercely. A youth in ragged clothes was roasting meat at the side, his rumbling stomach indicating that he was extremely hungry. Smelling the fragrance from the meat, the youth could not help but swallow the saliva in his mouth. That youth was Qin Feng, who had fought with the horned windwolf for a long time today. That skewer of meat was one of the horned windwolf's legs, but it was about to become a delicacy in Qin Feng's stomach. The rank 2 demon crystal in the void stone made Qin Feng's mood very happy. He did not expect to find a rank 2 demon crystal in the body of the first rank 2 demon beast he hunted. Demon crystals have a wide range of uses. They contain an astonishing amount of star power and are a great tonic for Starry Sky warriors. However, the energy needs to be purified before it can be absorbed by Starry Sky warriors. If it is directly absorbed, the violent and bestial elements of the demon beast will affect the Starry Sky warrior's mind. In addition, demon crystals are essential for forging spirit treasures. The higher the grade of the spirit treasure, the higher the grade of the demon crystal. However, not every low-rank demon beast has a demon crystal. This also depends on the person's luck. Clearly, Qin Feng's luck was not bad. Qin Feng lazily lay on the ground, chewing the wolf meat that was not delicious. Although he had an indifferent appearance, his ears were perked up, quietly listening to the movements around him. In this dangerous Sunset Mountain range, if one loses their vigilance, then it is very easy to become a delicacy in the mouth of the demon beasts in the mountain range. Although Qin Feng was confident that as long as he did not encounter a rank 3 demon beast, he still had the ability to protect himself, but in this mountain range it was better to be careful. However, other than the gentle breeze and the slight crackling of the bonfire, Qin Feng did not hear any other movements. "Little child, can you treat this old man to a piece of meat?" An old voice softly said. Although the voice was soft, it was like thunder in Qin Feng's ears. The sudden voice gave Qin Feng a fright. He immediately bounced up from the ground, his right hand tightly grasping the sharp dagger, nervously looking at the old man who appeared like a ghost. The old man was dressed in an ordinary gray robe. Although his hair was white, his complexion was ruddy and his spirit was hale and hearty. His eyes flashed from time to time, and one could tell at a glance that he was not an ordinary person. Of course, Qin Feng didn't think that the old man in front of him was just an ordinary old man from a mountain village. Only an idiot would believe that this old man was an ordinary old man who had appeared in the dangerous Sunset Mountain range in such a late night without anyone noticing. At this moment, the gray-robed old man pointed at the wolf meat on the grill and looked at Qin Feng with a smile. His face was amiable and there was no trace of hostility. Qin Feng sized up the old man in front of him. Although he could not feel the slightest fluctuation from the old man, there was an invisible majesty and pressure that deeply enveloped him. This feeling was even stronger than when he faced Mu Ziwu. In other words, the strength of this gray-robed old man surpassed that of Elder Mu Ziwu, a transcendent realm expert. According to Qin Feng's knowledge, a transcendent realm expert was definitely the top existence in the Tianfeng region. In the Yanlong dynasty they could be ranked in the top 10. Facing a transcendent realm expert, even if Qin Feng had heaven-defying means and spirit treasures, he would not be able to last one round. "Little kid, can you treat this old man to a piece of meat?" The old man was still smiling as he asked. "Senior, please feel free to eat. It's just that this wolf meat does not taste very good," Qin Feng respectfully said as he put away the dagger and sat down by the bonfire again. He could see that the old man in gray did not have any ill intentions towards him. Even if he did, a mere dagger would not be of much use. After all, a transcendent realm expert was an existence that he could not fight against. However, although he looked relaxed on the surface, he was extremely nervous inside. In the middle of the night, in the depths of the forest, meeting a transcendent realm expert of unknown origin and intentions, anyone would be nervous. The old man in gray unceremoniously tore off a piece of wolf meat from the grill and sat down with Qin Feng, taking big bites of it. "Little kid, to be able to kill a horned wind wolf with the strength of an early stage second stage, this really makes this old man have a whole new level of respect for you," the old man in gray said as he chewed on the wolf meat. "This junior was just lucky, there is nothing worth showing off. Beautiful landlord, read the full text." "But senior, why did you appear in the Sunset Mountains so late?" Qin Feng looked at the old man in gray and asked. This old man came to the Sunset Mountains to take a walk and stretch my bones. When one gets old, their bones become a little slack," the old man in gray said indifferently, as if the Sunset Mountains were his back garden. On the surface, Qin Feng was calm and collected, but in his heart, he did not believe that the old man in gray appeared in the Sunset Mountains so late. It was definitely not as simple as taking a walk. But what purpose could he have for approaching him? Could it be that he had revealed some of his secrets these few days? But after that the two did not speak. The atmosphere fell into a moment of silence, and only Qin Feng's nervous heartbeat could be heard. "Little kid, you seem very nervous?" the old man in gray said with a smile. "No, maybe this junior is a little tired, so," Qin Feng hurriedly explained, but in his heart, it would be strange if he was not nervous. "Little kid, thank you." After the old man in gray finished eating the wolf meat, he wiped his mouth and did not have the slightest demeanor of an expert. Instead, he was like an ordinary old man from a mountain village. "Just a small matter, senior need not take it to heart." Qin Feng was rather respectful to the old man in gray. After all, offending a transcendent realm expert was an extremely unwise thing to do. "Little kid, don't be nervous, this old man has no evil intentions. I was just passing by and was attracted by your roasted meat. I will repay this kindness in the future." Just as Qin Feng blinked, he was surprised to find that the old man in gray had already disappeared, and when the old man in gray left, his words echoed in the forest. But Qin Feng never thought that today's coincidental encounter would actually save his life 2 years later. This could only be said to be fate. Following the departure of the old man in gray, Qin Feng also let out a sigh of relief. Only now did he realize that his back was already covered in a layer of cold sweat. In the next 10 days, Qin Feng found traces left behind by the other Mu clan youths. He also followed these traces and determined the direction, quickly closing the distance. These days, other than encountering a rank 2 demonic beast, the barbarian mountain bull, the rest were all rank 1 demonic beasts. These demonic beasts were all mercilessly killed by Qin Feng, but his luck seemed to have become bad. He did not find any more demonic crystals in these demonic beasts' bodies. Along with the battle with the demonic beasts, Qin Feng's aura had also completely stabilized at the peak of the early stage of the 2nd rank. The slightly unstable star energy had also been compressed and stabilized in this kind of life and death test. "Damn it, next time I come out I have to bring a few more sets of clothes." Qin Feng looked at the tattered clothes on his body and shook his head with a bitter smile. Using the word, "not covered," to describe his current state was the most appropriate. His entire upper garment had almost become strips from the battle with the demonic beasts and passing through the forest, and his trousers were also full of holes. Because he had previously trained in the outer area of the Sunset Mountain Range, in addition to the mountaineering experience in his previous life, this kind of training now was relatively simple. At least in terms of solving the problem of food and clothing, Qin Feng was able to do it easily. As he went deeper into the mountain range, Qin Feng became more vigilant. Even if he did not encounter any powerful demonic beasts, it did not mean that the danger had disappeared. Qin Feng also knew that he had already begun to go deep into the Sunset Mountain Range. Although the high-ranked demonic beasts along the route had been cleared by the clan's experts, it was inevitable that there would be some fishes that slipped through the net. These fishes that slipped through the net were difficult characters to deal with. Most of them were rank 3 demonic beasts, and this level of demonic beast was also difficult for Qin Feng to match with his current strength. 2 days ago he accidentally encountered a so-called fish that slipped through the net, a rank 3 demonic beast. His entire body was scared out of his wits. Even if he had the devouring spirit devil flame, but not to mention killing a rank 3 demonic beast, even escaping from the mouth of a rank 3 demonic beast was also a certain difficulty. This was why the Mu family's disciples had to travel in groups of 3 to 5. Because if one wanted to pass through the Sunset Mountain range and complete this training, the difficulty would increase by countless times. The gentle sunlight shone on the entire Sunset Mountain range, but because of the shade of the ancient trees, the mountain range was still slightly gloomy. Qin Feng looked around for a moment. About 20 days had passed. He estimated that he should now be in the depths of the Sunset Mountain range. These days he had also seen several groups of clan's disciples, but Qin Feng did not plan to partner with them. Only by going through the training alone would he be able to obtain the greatest tempering, not to mention that he still had many unknown secrets. However, going through the training alone also increased the danger of the training. These days of fighting with demonic beasts, there were several crises, but in the end Qin Feng still relied on his own strength and alertness to turn the danger into safety. Qin Feng found a slightly hidden place and sat cross-legged on the ground. His hands formed a seal, and the blazing sun tyrant tactic revolved in his body. The power of the stars around the youth's body was pulled, and at a slow and uniform speed, it rushed into the youth's body. Since Qin Feng advanced to the peak of the early stage of the Second Order, he discovered that the power of the stars in his body had become a lot more vigorous. Therefore he also decided to once again attack the 5th meridian of the blazing sun tyrant tactic. In the past, he had attacked the 5th meridian several times and had already loosened the blockage in the 5th meridian. This time he even took out the star force pellet and decided to open the 5th meridian in one go. Under the guidance of Qin Feng's will, the power of the stars in his body circulated around his body several times and finally arrived in front of a familiar meridian. This meridian was the 5th meridian that Qin Feng had attacked several times but had not succeeded. Boom! The power of the stars fiercely bombarded the blockage in the 5th meridian. The blockage that was as immovable as a mountain trembled slightly under this kind of bombardment. This kind of trembling was caused by Qin Feng's previous attack. Boom boom boom. Qin Feng was not stingy with his power of the stars. He gathered all the power of the stars in his body and turned it into a surging torrent, attacking the 5th meridian. Because of the pain caused by the impact, his forehead was covered with bean-sized beads of sweat. However, no matter how these beads of sweat flowed down into his eyes and mouth, Qin Feng did not bother to wipe them off. He still controlled the power of the stars to continuously bombard the blockage in the meridian. Everyone was clear that Qin Feng's defeat was already set in stone. It was only a matter of time. Facing a powerful Stardust warrior like Mu Sheng, Qin Feng, this dark horse should not be able to stay dark until the end. Just admit defeat. Mu Sheng still said calmly. According to his age, his talent and achievements were only slightly inferior to Mu Hanyu's. His temperament was also the most stable and mature among his peers. In the words of Patriarch Mu Qianlang, this child will definitely become a great talent in the future. Don't you think it's too early to say that? Qin Feng sneered. Even when facing such a powerful opponent, admitting defeat was not his style. Oh, then I would like to see what other trump cards you have. A hint of coldness flashed past Mu Sheng's eyes. He lightly took a step forward, and an enormous pressure like an iceberg pressed down on Qin Feng. Frost technique, iceberg crush. If it was at the beginning, Qin Feng could still resist this kind of pressure. However, Qin Feng had already exhausted most of the power of the stars in his body due to the circular blade shield. This kind of pressure had become an irresistible force. Currently, Qin Feng was completely relying on his own unyielding spirit to contend against Mu Sheng. Blazing Sun Tyrannical Art. Qin Feng's body suddenly had an enormous pulling force. The power of the stars in the surroundings of the battle stage immediately rolled like boiling water. In an extremely short period of time, it actually formed a small whirlpool of star power. Then, in a state visible to the naked eye, it drilled into Qin Feng's body through his skin. Qin Feng immediately felt an unprecedented majestic power of stars appear in his body. Break for me! Qin Feng roared in rage. The entire battle platform was enveloped in a storm of astral energy. Powerful astral energy fluctuations erupted from Qin Feng's body. Mu Sheng's expression finally had a trace of astonishment. He felt an extreme sense of danger from Qin Feng's body. Kacha kacha, countless loud sounds rang out. It was as if a huge iceberg was shattered into pieces by a powerful force. In the midst of this loud sound, both of them spat out a mouthful of blood at the same time and flew out. The surrounding crowd was almost dumbfounded. They were all stunned on the spot. For a moment, the huge martial arts field was deathly silent. Below the stage, Muli was in a daze. He didn't expect Qin Feng to have such strength. The reason why he was defeated by Qin Feng wasn't because of the latter's luck. What was laughable was that he had previously viewed Qin Feng as an ant that could be instantly killed. The current Qin Feng was completely relying on his own unyielding spirit to contend against Mu Sheng. Blazing Sun Tyrant technique. Qin Feng's body suddenly had an enormous pulling force. The power of the stars in the surroundings of the battle stage suddenly rolled like boiling water. In an extremely short period of time, it actually formed a small whirlpool of star power. Then, in a state visible to the naked eye, it drilled into Qin Feng's body through his skin. Qin Feng suddenly felt an unprecedented majestic power of stars appear in his body. "Break for me!" Qin Feng howled in rage. The entire battle platform was enveloped in a storm of astral energy. Powerful astral energy fluctuations erupted from Qin Feng's body. Chapter 312. Everyone knew in their hearts that Qin Feng's defeat was already set in stone. It was only a matter of time. Facing a powerful Stardust warrior like Mu Sheng, Qin Feng, this dark horse should not be able to stay dark until the end. Just admit defeat. Mu Sheng still said calmly. According to his age, his talent and achievements were only slightly inferior to Mu Hanyu's. His temperament was also the most stable and mature among his peers. In the words of Patriarch Mu Qianlang, this child will definitely become a great talent in the future. Aren't you saying this a little too early? Qin Feng sneered. Even when facing such a powerful opponent, admitting defeat was not his style. "Oh, then I would like to see what other trump cards you have." Mu Sheng's eyes flashed with a hint of coldness. He lightly took a step forward and an enormous pressure like an iceberg pressed down on Qin Feng. Frost technique, iceberg crush. If it was at the beginning, Qin Feng could still resist this kind of pressure. But now, Qin Feng's circular blade shield had exhausted most of his star force. This kind of pressure had become an irresistible force. The current Qin Feng was completely relying on his own unyielding spirit to contend against Mu Sheng. Blazing Sun tyrannical art. Qin Feng's body suddenly had an enormous suction force. The star force around the stage immediately rolled like boiling water. In an extremely short period of time, it actually formed a small star force whirlpool. Then, in a state visible to the naked eye, it drilled into Qin Feng's body through his skin. Qin Feng immediately felt an unprecedented majestic star force appear in his body. "Break for me!" Qin Feng howled in rage. The entire battle platform was enveloped in a storm of astral energy. Powerful astral energy fluctuations erupted from Qin Feng's body. Mu Sheng's expression finally had a trace of astonishment. He felt an extreme sense of danger from Qin Feng's body. Kacha kacha, countless loud sounds rang out. It was as if a huge iceberg was shattered into pieces by a powerful force. In the midst of this loud sound, both of them spat out a mouthful of blood at the same time and flew back. The surrounding crowd was dumbfounded. They stood there in a daze. For a moment, the huge martial arts field was dead silent. Below the stage, Muli was in a daze. He did not expect Qin Feng to have such strength. He was defeated by Qin Feng not because the latter was lucky. What was laughable was that he had previously regarded Qin Feng as an ant that could be instantly killed. "Sister Hanyu, how can that brat be so strong? Even Mu Sheng is no match for him. He just advanced to the second order not long ago." The yellow-robed girl said in surprise. She did not expect Qin Feng to be able to fight with Mu Sheng so intensely. Mu Hanyu gently bit her red lips as a trace of astonishment flashed across her face. Qin Feng, this dark horse was truly too dark. He had repeatedly exceeded her expectations. The faces of the upper echelons of the clan on the high platform were filled with complicated expressions. They had not expected this to happen either. The two youths on the stage had used all of their skills, but they were evenly matched in their fight. Every time everyone thought that the outcome of the battle was about to be decided, something unexpected would happen. "Elder, should we continue? I'm afraid that both sides will suffer." Mu Chuandao said in a low voice. Actually, he was more worried about Qin Feng. The middle-aged bald man also nodded his head and said, "Elder, I think that the two of them should be tied for first place." The red-faced old man shook his head. Based on his understanding of Mu Sheng, he was afraid that the latter would not agree. Moreover, that brat Qin Feng seemed to be a stubborn person. Moreover, the two of them had already used all their strength in the previous attack. The outcome of the battle would be decided soon. He also wanted to know who was stronger between the two of them. However, in his heart, Mu Sheng would definitely be able to defeat Qin Feng. This was because he had seen Mu Sheng's talent and hard work. The two of them on the stage looked at each other. Qin Feng felt that the star energy in his body had been emptied. He was so weak that it was as if a light punch could knock him down. He did not expect that he would still be unable to defeat Mu Sheng. At this moment, Mu Sheng's situation was not any better. In the previous attack, he had also used all his strength to block that incomparably powerful punch. He could no longer maintain the calm expression on his face. Instead, it was replaced by a dignified and shocked expression. Just when he thought that the outcome was already decided, Qin Feng's sudden burst of strength caused him to suffer a little more in the previous exchange. The spectators on the viewing platform also held their breaths as they quietly looked at the two people on the stage. Only the sound of the audience's violent heartbeat could be heard in the large martial arts field. Such powerful strength, Qin Feng muttered. Qin Feng had a very deep feeling. Although Mu Xing, Mu Li and Mu Hanqing were all at the early stage of the second order, Mu Sheng's strength was obviously higher than the other two. He was already infinitely close to the peak of the second order. If his opponent was Mu Li or Mu Hanqing, he believed that he would have already won. On the other hand, Mu Xing did not expect that after using all his trump cards, he still could not defeat this young man who was only at the early stage of the second order. The strength of this young man in front of him was too terrifying. Both of them had almost exhausted all of their star force. At this moment, they were competing to see whose will was stronger and whose conviction to win was more persistent. The crowd was also quietly watching the two young figures on the stage. The battle between the two could not be said to be the highest level battle in the family competition in recent years, but it was definitely the most exciting, the most outstanding, and the most unexpected battle. The ups and downs of the battle caused the crowd to be constantly shocked. Especially Qin Feng, a young man who had just advanced to the second order, the astonishing strength he displayed shocked the spectators. Both of them calmed down the surging blood in their chests and rushed towards each other again. There was no majestic star force. What they relied on was the strength of their bodies and persistent belief. Peng peng peng. The two figures intertwined with each other. The sound of punches and kicks could be heard continuously. The sound of fists hitting flesh made the spectators' hearts jump. No one expected that the final battle would turn into a hand-to-hand fight. However, it seems both of them had exhausted all of their physical strength and star force. Even their movements were extremely sluggish. This kind of comical scene of you punching me and I kicking you made the spectators not know whether to laugh or cry. Both of them exerted all of their strength and collided with each other. The huge recoil made both of them fall back. With a plop sound, both of them fell on the stage at the same time. However, both of them looked at each other with a trace of smile on their face. This kind of feeling of meeting a worthy opponent was quite good. Both of them rested on the stage for a while before crawling up with difficulty. This kind of tenacity deeply shocked the spectators. Mu Clan is really blessed to have these two sons. No wonder Mu Clan is able to dominate one side of Tianfeng province. With this kind of youngster, it is hard for them not to prosper. If my sect also has this kind of talent and perseverance in the younger generation, then my sect will have hope of revitalizing. Those people from various sects and forces of Soaring Dragon City who were invited here saw the two youngsters on the stage and sighed with emotion in their heart. You lost. Qin Feng suddenly revealed a trace of a brilliant smile towards Mu Sheng. Not only could Blazing Sun Tyrant's secret art strengthen the star force within the body of starry warriors, the speed of obtaining star force from heaven and earth was also somewhat abnormal. This also caused the recovery of star force within Qin Feng to surpass Mu Sheng. Raging flame fist, raging flames burning the heavens. Punching out, the blazing star force once again gushed out. Although the might of this punch was far weaker than the initial punch, but when the star force of both of them was exhausted, this punch was enough to decide the outcome of the battle. Mu Sheng was barely able to resist the punch, but he was sent flying once again. He fell off the stage and fainted. Victory and defeat had been decided. The spectators were in an uproar and exclamations could be heard from time to time. Qin Feng, this champion, was well deserved. Mu Li, Mu Hanqing, and Mu Sheng, who were the strongest in this coming-of-age ceremony, were all defeated by him. This champion made everyone wholeheartedly convinced. Only make love co get lost. Read the full text. At this moment, the red-faced elder's face was filled with dark clouds. His eyes surged with a cold light. After a long while, he stood up and announced, "The champion of this coming-of-age ceremony is Qin Feng." After Qin Feng heard the red-faced elder's announcement, he could no longer hold on. His mind was in a daze and the world instantly turned dark. When Qin Feng woke up, it was already the third day after the coming-of-age ceremony. Although he had exhausted all of his stellar energy in this competition, it was still an extremely good tempering for Qin Feng. He could feel that the star force vortex in his dantian seemed to have become a little bigger. The star force in his body was more abundant than before. Indeed, a battle could increase his strength faster and increase his combat experience and ability. Especially this kind of opponent who was on par with him, it was the best whetstone for him. After waking up, Qin Feng saw the smiling faces of Qin Haoyuan, his wife, and Mu Chuandao. "Father, I didn't disappoint you, right?" Qin Feng said softly with a trace of weakness in his voice. "Good child, I'm proud of you. You've become famous in the entire clan now." Qin Haoyuan said happily, no longer as stern as he used to be. He seemed to have become 10 years younger. Returning to the clan had already made Qin Haoyuan extremely happy, but what was more surprising was that Qin Feng actually won the championship in the coming-of-age ceremony. Indeed, it had brought him a lot of glory. Qin Feng's achievements, even if it was him back then, he was still far behind. He had no choice but to admit that Qin Feng had already surpassed him to a certain extent. "Feng, how are you feeling? Are you all right?" Li Ruoyue asked with concern. Although she was also very happy to return to the clan, she still valued Qin Haoyuan and his son the most. As long as they were safe and sound, nothing else mattered. "I'm fine. How's Mu Sheng?" Qin Feng suddenly asked about Mu Sheng's situation. "He's fine, he already woke up yesterday." Mu Chuandao said, "Feng, you did well this time. You can go to the clan's library with me tomorrow and choose one of the 3 sets of low-quality profound rank star techniques to cultivate." "Really, that's great." Excited, Qin Feng sat up on the bed, but to his surprise, his sore muscles and bones were affected, causing him to grimace in pain. Low-quality profound rank star techniques could indeed greatly enhance his combat power. Without the help of star techniques like the Flaming Sun Tyrannical Technique and Flame Fist, it would be difficult for him to even make it to the top 10, let alone clinch the championship. "Look at how happy you are. It's not like you're going to lose anything. Why are you in such a hurry?" Seeing Qin Feng's reaction, Li Ruoyue was really annoyed and amused. Qin Feng scratched his head and smiled embarrassedly. Everyone was overjoyed to see him like this, especially Elder Mu Chuandao. His face was full of smiles and even his eyes were narrowed into slits. Soon, the star power energy in Qin Feng's body began to show signs of exhaustion under the bombardment. However, he did not panic and instead took out a star power pill and popped it into his mouth. The pure star power energy of the star power pill immediately spread out and replenished the depleted star power in Qin Feng's body. Under the replenishment, the star power torrent grew stronger again and began to impact the blockages in his meridians again. This process lasted for a full 6 hours, and after consuming 3 strength of the star's pills, the young man's body emitted a shocking sound. The strength of the stars had finally broken through the blockage, and the fiery strength of the stars filled his meridians. Along with the opening of the 5th meridian, the astral energy in Qin Feng's body quietly became more resplendent under the circulation of the blazing sun tyrannical art. The tyrannical and ferocious aura seemed to have become denser. Phew! The young man slowly opened his eyes and exhaled a mouthful of turbid air. Only then did he wipe the sweat on his head and a look of joy flashed in his eyes. The opening of the 5th meridian allowed him to clearly feel that the power in his body had increased by a little. If he were to face the horned windwolf again, he wouldn't have to fight so hard anymore. Although the later meridians of the Flaming Sun Tyrannical Technique were getting harder to open, Qin Feng could feel that his power had increased by a little every time a new meridian was opened. The Flaming Sun Tyrannical Technique was only the first part of the technique and it already displayed such a powerful strength. Who knew how powerful the second and third part would be? Qin Feng revealed a trace of curiosity. However, what Qin Feng wanted to do the most now was to be selected as one of the 5 participants in the Young Heroes competition. Because only by being one of the 5 participants could he enter the clan's star power room to cultivate. The star power in the room should be enough for him to open the next few meridians. However, if he wanted to be one of the 5 participants, the difficulty wouldn't be small. Mu Hanyu and Mu Kuan were both at the peak of the second order. There were also more than 10 of them who were at the peak of the second order. These youths had abundant cultivation resources from the clan and some spirit treasures bestowed by the clan. Their battle prowess couldn't be underestimated. Thinking of the spirit treasures, Qin Feng sighed. He didn't have a single spirit treasure, and with his financial strength, it was impossible for him to buy a spirit treasure. It would be great if he could become a spirit master. He could refine any spirit treasure he wanted. Qin Feng fantasized in his heart and couldn't help but reveal a trace of a smile on his face. Qin Feng had already made up his mind to find Grandmaster Xia one day and see if he had the talent to do so. Qin Feng called out the spirit-devouring devil flame again. Ever since he advanced to the second order and had the star power to refine his body, the spirit-devouring devil flame's body-tempering effect had weakened a lot. Qin Feng would often find some hidden places to study the spirit-devouring devil flame. The person who reached the destination. Chapter 313. Mu Hanyu and Mu Qing nodded, after which the vigorous star power surged out. Frost technique, iceberg crush. Sea-breaking fist, shocking sea fist. Sky-shattering palm, shaking the heavens. The three of them used their best star techniques as soon as they attacked. Faced with such a shocking attack, the granite leopard dared not ignore it even though it had a tough body and strong defensive abilities. The granite leopard roared angrily and gradually formed a massive star power leopard shadow behind it. The star power leopard shadow emitted terrifying waves of star power. That was the special ability of a rank 3 demonic beast. A rank 3 demonic beast was equivalent to a rank 3 star warrior. The biggest characteristic of a rank 3 star warrior was that they could condense star power into a physical form to attack. Condensing star power would increase the power of their attacks by several times. That was the reason why a rank 3 star warrior could become a powerhouse. The gradually solidifying Star Force leopard leaped up and fiercely collided with the 3-star Force cheese. A powerful shockwave spread out in all directions from the collision, sweeping away the withered leaves, branches and stones on the ground. The surrounding ancient trees were also shaken to the ground and snapped. The bodies of Mu Hanyu and the other two trembled as they were sent flying. Granite leopard was also sent flying by the impact of the air wave. The granite leopard turned its body and landed steadily in the air before standing still. Clearly, there was a huge difference between a rank 3-star warrior and a rank 2-star warrior. The 3 rank 2-star warriors' full-force attacks did not cause any substantial damage to the granite leopard. The granite leopard had just advanced to rank 3. That was also the reason why Qin Feng and his family were so hopeless when facing the rank 3 Tongwen. Tongwen did not even use any star techniques and merely punched Qin Haoyuan, who was at the peak of rank 2, to immobilize him. Looking at the three of them who were in a sorry state, the granite leopard sneered. At rank 3, demonic beasts were not low in spiritual intelligence. The granite leopard rushed towards the 3 people who had fallen, and its right claw viciously slapped towards Mu Cheng, who had fallen at the front. If this claw were to land on Mu Cheng's body, death would be Mu Cheng's only fate. Mu Cheng's expression changed drastically. He did not hold back at all as he unleashed all of the star energy in his body. He condensed many star energy barriers in front of him. He wanted to delay for a while and wait for Mu Hanyu and Mu Kuan to come to his rescue. But Mu Cheng's thinking was a little naive. The star power barrier he created was useless against the granite leopard. Just as Mu Cheng's face was filled with despair, a ball of black flames shot over. The scorching high temperature caused the granite leopard's body to stop. Just now, it had also witnessed the power of this black flame and was very fearful of this strange flame. Mu Cheng also took advantage of the moment when the granite leopard paused to stomp on the ground. Borrowing the force of the stomp, he retreated a few steps. Mu Hanyu and Mu Kuan also sent out a few palm strikes. The swift and fierce palm shadows enveloped granite leopard's body. Roar! An astonishing roar shattered all the palm imprints. That formless sound wave sent Mu Hanyu and Mu Kuan flying. Mu Hanyu, Mu Kuan, and Mu Cheng gathered together once again. Mu Hanyu looked at the granite leopard solemnly and said, "The granite leopard's body is tough. We can only find its weak point and focus our attacks on it. Only then will we have a chance to kill it. Its neck should be its weak point. Attack its neck." Mu Kuan was more knowledgeable. In the previous exchange, he was able to identify the granite leopard's weak point. As soon as he finished speaking, the 3 of them attacked at the same time. 3 streams of star energy shot towards the granite leopard's neck. The dense star energy tore through the air and actually brought about a sonic boom. The granite leopard leaped and nimbly dodged two of the streams of star energy. In the end, it did not manage to dodge the third stream of star energy and heavily struck its neck. The granite leopard's huge body finally fell from the sky and staggered a few steps back. The granite leopard let out a few more roars as its anger surged out. The loud roars caused the entire mountain forest to tremble. Some of the low-level demonic beasts felt as if their guts were being torn apart and they hurriedly ran away in all directions. The sound waves assaulted everyone's eardrums, causing them to feel waves of pain. Qin Feng, quickly think of a way. Mu Hanqing shook Qin Feng's arm and said, "There's no hurry." Wait. Qin Feng stared at the granite leopard through the gaps in the forest and said, previously, he had taken the opportunity to reach an agreement with Mu Hanqing. If he were to attack, Mu Hanqing would have to agree to two of his conditions. First, Mu Hanqing would not tell anyone about the black flames. Second, Mu Hanqing would not allow herself to call him little pervert. Mu Hanqing had no choice but to agree. Behind the granite leopard, an even bigger star energy leopard gradually formed. The dense star energy churned on the surface of the leopard, causing the star energy on the surface of the leopard to become even brighter. The entanglement between the three of them had infuriated the granite leopard. This anger caused the granite leopard to use its full strength, wanting to kill the three of them in one fell swoop. Don't let the leopard's shadow solidify. At this moment, an ice-cold bronze figure rushed out from the forest and shot toward the granite leopard. As the figure brandished his fists, the wind from his fists brought along tyrannical and ferocious star energy and enveloped the demonic beast. After the figure's reminder, Mu Hanyu and the other two also attacked the granite leopard at the same time. Boom! The granite leopard roared with all its might, and the stellar energy leopard shadow clashed with the attacks of the four people in a hurry. The huge shockwave caused mud to fly all over the sky as if it was raining mud. At the point of impact, a large mud hole was blasted open, and the surrounding trees were all broken by the impact. Under the impact of the tremor, the figure was also sent flying. He only stabilized his body after retreating a few dozen meters. Qin Feng! Mu Hanyu exclaimed in surprise. The bronze figure was Qin Feng. When he saw the three of them watching the star energy leopard's shadow solidify, he couldn't help but circulate the profound spirit copper body technique to stop them. This also prevented the granite leopard from using its full strength. Qin Feng didn't reply. Instead, he calmed down his surging blood and qi due to the impact. Even though his strength had increased a lot in the past few days and he had circulated the profound spirit copper body technique, he still couldn't take the impact from before. The granite leopard roared again and again. It had already sunk into a frenzy. Even though it had just advanced to the third rank, the demonic beast's special physique and strong defense allowed it to be comparable to a starry warrior who had reached the peak of the third rank. Qin Feng slightly calmed his mind. The fiery star power rapidly condensed in his hands. The light of the star power flickered in his hands. That light became brighter and brighter. In the end, it actually formed a ball of light like a jumping flame. Raging flame fist, raging flames. An astonishing star energy fluctuation erupted from the ball of light and swept toward the granite leopard with a high temperature. When the star energy fluctuation engulfed the granite leopard, Qin Feng yelled, "Attack!" Mu Hanyu and the other two also understood his intentions and took out their own ultimate techniques. Frost arts, freezing heaven and earth. Sea-breaking fist, splitting wind and waves. Sky-shaking palm, shaking the clear sky. The dazzling star energy tore through the sky and ruthlessly struck the granite leopard that was entangled with Qin Feng. The powerful granite leopard was struck by the combined attack of the four and its huge body was sent flying. It let out a low roar and its body became a little sluggish. Under the combined attack of the four, the third-rank granite leopard couldn't withstand it and finally showed some injuries. The granite leopard let out a few low roars at Qin Feng and the others. After hesitating for a moment, it finally retreated and jumped into the forest. After a few leaps, it disappeared without a trace. A third-rank demonic beast's intelligence wasn't low. It knew that the four people in front of it were difficult to deal with. Moreover, there was an expert who used black flames hiding in the surroundings. After considering for a long time, the granite leopard still chose to retreat. However, Qin Feng and the others didn't have any intention of pursuing it. A third-rank demonic beast was indeed too strong for them. Even though they could repel it, it wasn't that easy to kill it. Sister Hanyu? Mu Hanqing also walked out from the forest at the side. Qin, it's good that you are fine. Mu Hanyu saw that Mu Hanqing was safe and sound and felt relieved. She turned her head and said to Qin Feng, you came at the right time. If it wasn't for you we would be in danger. Indeed, if Qin Feng didn't arrive in time, the three of them wouldn't be in a good situation. Qin Feng smiled and said, Sister Hanyu is too polite. Qin Feng just happened to pass by. Did you come with Qing'er? Mu Hanyu saw Qin Feng and Mu Hanqing together and asked curiously. Hanqing and I just happened to meet by chance. Qin Feng said indifferently. Cousin Qin Feng, are you following behind us because you are afraid? Mu Qing saw the two women smiling at Qin Feng and his face turned gloomy. His words were filled with ridicule. Mu Qing, don't forget that without Qin Feng's help, can you guys defeat the granite leopard? Mu Hanqing was a little unhappy when she saw Mu Qing mocking Qin Feng, especially when Qin Feng had saved Mu Qing earlier. She didn't say anything because Qin Feng didn't allow her to reveal the secret of the black flame. Can he do it without us? Mu Qing didn't believe that Qin Feng was the one who defeated the granite leopard. Mu Hanyu didn't say anything as she looked at Qin Feng with a puzzled expression. Sister Yu, what's wrong? Mu Kuan asked softly when he saw her expression. I am thinking about the senior who used the black flame to help us. Who is he? Mu Hanyu glanced at Qin Feng. She had guessed that the person was Qin Feng. However, she immediately shook her head and denied her own thoughts. She knew that the flame wasn't an ordinary item. How was it possible for Qin Feng to control it? She wasn't the only one who didn't believe it. No one in the Fire Dragon dynasty would believe it. Qin Feng, did you see anyone else nearby? Mu Hanyu asked softly. Oh, before Hanqing and I came here we saw a streak of gray. Mu Hanqing also noticed that Qin Feng's gaze had lingered on her chest for a while. She recalled the scene at the Sunset Mountain Range and her face couldn't help but turn red. She reprimanded, take care of your eyes. Otherwise I will dig them out for you. Qin Feng was a little embarrassed after being reprimanded by Mu Hanqing. Hanqing, why are you looking for me? Don't tell me you are here to dig out my eyes? Qin Feng muttered in his heart, I have already seen you naked. Can't I just take a look? However, he didn't dare to say these words out loud. Can't I look for you if there's nothing? Are you going to the auction tomorrow? Mu Hanqing curled her lips and asked. Auction? Qin Feng was startled and asked. It's the auction organized by the Hidden Treasure Pavilion. It's the largest auction in the Tianfeng region in the past 10 years. I heard that Grandmaster Xie will be there personally. Mu Hanqing rolled her eyes at Qin Feng. He didn't even know about such a big event. She really didn't know what he was doing all the time. He was just like an idiot. After Mu Hanqing explained for a long time, Qin Feng finally understood the whole story. Among the Mu clan's 3 inner sect elders, Mu Ziwu was in seclusion in the library all year round and didn't care about worldly affairs. Mu Yuntang and Mu Chuandao were in charge of the Mu clan's daily affairs. Elder Mu Huaiji was in charge of the clan's business and was in charge of the clan's economic affairs. Although the auction tomorrow was organized by the Hidden Treasure Pavilion in name, it was actually organized by the Mu clan. The person in charge of it was Elder Mu Huaiji. Originally, the younger generation of the Mu clan wouldn't be allowed to participate in this kind of auction. However, Mu Hanqing was Mu Huaiji's granddaughter. She was the apple of Mu Huaiji's eye. In addition, she used many trump cards such as acting spoiled. In the end, the old man finally agreed to let her go to the auction tomorrow to broaden her horizons. However, Mu Hanyu went into seclusion the moment she came back. She couldn't accompany Mu Hanqing to participate in the auction tomorrow. After thinking about it, she finally thought of Qin Feng. Hence, she came to look for him. Qin Feng also wanted to go to the auction to broaden his horizons. Hence he agreed. Alright, it's settled then. See you tomorrow. When Mu Hanqing saw Qin Feng nodding his head in agreement, she left excitedly. Boos could be heard from the auction hall. No one expected that the first item to be auctioned in such a large-scale auction would be an iron plate that even the auctioneer didn't know what it was. Great Desolate Era. Everyone listen to me. This iron plate has been appraised by Great Master Xie. It belongs to the ancient era and has existed for a very long time. Although we don't know its exact usage, it should have some extraordinary uses. The starting bid is 150,000 cultivation coins. Each increment must not be less than 10,000 cultivation coins. Yao Li hastily said. Boom. The auction hall immediately burst into an uproar. Sounds of discussion could be heard everywhere. The Hidden Treasure Pavilion must have gone crazy thinking about money. Such an unknown iron plate is actually priced at 150,000 cultivation coins. You can't say it like that. Didn't you hear? This is a treasure that has been appraised by great Master Xia. Although we don't know what it is used for, we might discover that it is a treasure after we buy it. Forget it. 150,000 cultivation coins can buy 10 stalks of third-grade spiritual herbs. Han Qing, can you bid for this iron plate? I have a use for it. Qin Feng whispered to Mu Hanqing. Qin Feng looked at the iron plate and revealed a covetous expression. However, he couldn't take out 150,000 cultivation coins. How could he bid for it? Hence, he could only ask Mu Hanqing for help. What do you want this iron plate for? Mu Hanqing was puzzled and curious. Nothing much. It's just that my intuition tells me that this iron plate is different from the rest. Qin Feng naturally wouldn't tell her about the runes. Hence, he could only make up an excuse. Chapter 314. Without any suspense, the finals began between Qin Feng and Mu Sheng. The two of them were also the most outstanding youths in the Mu clan's coming-of-age ceremony this year. Mu Sheng was recognized as the favorite to be the champion of this year's competition, but Qin Feng appeared out of nowhere. Although his cultivation level was only at the beginning of the second order, his performance throughout the competition made him the biggest obstacle to Mu Sheng winning the championship. Being able to defeat Mu Li and Mu Hanqing means that you're very strong. Mu Sheng said softly, his eyes full of fighting spirit. It could be seen that this young man was the kind of Stardust warrior who would get more excited when facing a tough opponent. You're very strong too, but I still have to defeat you. Qin Feng clenched his fists tightly. Not only could he fulfill his father's dream by becoming the champion, but he could also fulfill his own wish. The crowd in the stands looked at the two of them with burning eyes. The biennial coming-of-age ceremony was a platform for the Mu clan to discover talents, and there would be plenty of surprises every time. Originally, everyone thought that the champion would be Mu Sheng, Mu Li, and Mu Hanqing. However, Qin Feng, who came out of nowhere, forcefully defeated many experts and advanced to the finals. This left the champion in suspense again. The two of them stood quietly in the arena, releasing the star power in their bodies without holding back. Although they had yet to fight, the star power fluctuations in the arena were already extremely intense. Qin Feng understood where his advantage was. Although he was only at the beginning of the second order, with the help of the spirit-swallowing demonic flames and the flaming sun tyrannical technique, the star power in his body was comparable to that of the Stardust warriors who were at the beginning of the second order. Besides, he also had the star technique, Flame Fist, which was low quality of the profound rank, making him almost invincible. Qin Feng lightly inhaled a breath of air. A blazing star power fist whizzed towards Mu Sheng. In the previous few competitions, Qin Feng had always been on the defensive, but in the finals, Qin Feng was full of fighting spirit and took the initiative to attack. A strange smile appeared on Mu Sheng's face, and he suddenly disappeared on the spot, causing Qin Feng's punch to hit nothing. Body Movement Star Technique. Qin Feng had seen a similar body movement star technique when he fought with Tong Wei. That star technique relied on footwork and speed to make the user disappear from the opponent's sight temporarily. However, such a star technique also depended on the cultivation level of the star warrior. As the star warrior's cultivation level improved, the star technique would improve accordingly. After all, the casting of star techniques required the support of one's own star power. Mu Sheng's concealment technique had nowhere to hide in front of the red-faced old man, Mu Chuandao and other powerhouses, but it was a little mysterious to Qin Feng, a Stardust warrior who had just entered Grade 2. His punch missed and Qin Feng cursed in his heart. His back was drenched in cold sweat. His keen perception made him subconsciously take a big step forward. Almost at the same time, Mu Sheng silently appeared behind Qin Feng and punched out. With just a hair's breadth away, Qin Feng still managed to dodge this punch. However, Mu Sheng's powerful fist wind still ruthlessly swept across Qin Feng's back, causing the latter's blood and qi to surge for a moment. Huh! Mu Sheng's heart was filled with horror. Phantom Steps was the killing move he left for the finals. He hoped to use it to defeat Qin Feng when he least expected it. However, he did not expect Qin Feng's ability to adapt to the situation to be so fast. If that punch had hit, with his strength of mid-second order, Qin Feng would have already lost his ability to fight. Mu Sheng's body swayed again, and his position made it difficult for Qin Feng to track him. Qin Feng closed his eyes slightly and keenly sensed the fluctuations and aura around him. Flame Fist, Raging Flames. A shocking wave of star power erupted from Qin Feng's body. With him as the center, it spread to the surroundings, and even the temperature of the entire battle arena increased significantly. "Found you," Qin Feng murmured and threw a punch in a certain direction. A figure retreated in a disheveled manner. Everyone on the spectator stand gasped in amazement when they saw this scene. Qin Feng used his own star power to sense Mu Sheng's location, but this consumed a lot of his star power. It was not something that ordinary Stardust warriors could withstand and perform. Flame fist, raging flames. Qin Feng threw another punch and the fiery star power gushed out again. However, facing Qin Feng's fierce attack, Mu Sheng didn't panic at all. Frost art, freezing heaven and earth. Following Mu Sheng's slight shout, his hand gestures kept changing, and the temperature of the entire stage seemed to have dropped to the freezing point in an instant. Qin Feng's punch also seemed to have been frozen, and the fiery star force actually let out a cracking sound. Qin Feng, who was standing opposite of Mu Sheng, felt it the most vividly. When Mu Sheng spat out those words, it was as though everything on the stage was frozen. Even Qin Feng himself felt that his body was obstructed. His breathing paused as a bone-chilling coldness rapidly enveloped him, causing the blood in his body to freeze. Low-quality star technique? Qin Feng didn't expect Mu Sheng to have a low-quality star technique. Frost art was one of the 3 low-quality star techniques of the Mu clan, and it was considered to be one of the top ones among the low-quality star techniques. Everyone was in an uproar. Why does Mu Sheng have the low-quality star technique of the clan? It seems that he's not qualified to learn such a star technique. The red-faced old man seemed to understand what everyone was thinking and said in a deep voice, "A month ago, Mu Sheng made a contribution to the clan, and the clan leader and 3 cabinet elders decided to give Mu Sheng the low-quality star technique, Frost art." Mu Chuandao and the middle-aged bald man at the side nodded continuously, obviously aware of this matter. Everyone's doubts were finally resolved. However, what kind of contribution did Mu Sheng make to be given a low-quality star technique by the clan leader and 3 cabinet elders? A trace of coldness flashed in Mu Sheng's eyes. Although his cold and handsome face was as calm as water, he exuded a domineering aura. After all, the 2 of them were 1 level apart in terms of cultivation, and there was still a gap in the use and comprehension of star techniques and star power. Frost art, freezing heaven and earth. It was completely winter on the battle arena, and the power of the stars seemed to have been frozen. Qin Feng felt a chill in his bones. Low-quality star techniques are indeed powerful. After countless nights of being refined and cleansed by the spirit-swallowing demonic flames, his meridians were opened, and he had gone through unimaginable pain. If he were to be defeated just like that, Qin Feng would feel indignant. "I must be the champion." Qin Feng yelled angrily, and the fiery star power in his body suddenly erupted without reservation. A shocking wave of star power swept out as if it was going to melt everything. The 2 of them used their best star techniques as soon as they started fighting. Qin Feng no longer had any advantage in terms of star techniques, and the only thing he could rely on now was the competition of star power. The 2 types of star power, ice and fire, formed a stalemate on the battle arena, and a strange scene suddenly appeared on the battle arena. Mu Sheng's side was like a cold winter, while Qin Feng's side was like a hot summer. At this moment, the cultivation levels of the 2 of them were displayed vividly. At this moment, not only were the eyes of the crowd on the spectator stand burning, even the red-faced old man and the other 2 on the high platform were amazed. At stage 2, the strength displayed by the 2 was unexpected. The situation was in a stalemate. Qin Feng circulated his energy in his energy center, and the Flaming Sun tyrannical technique was activated rapidly. Once again, a fierce and domineering star power erupted from his body, and suddenly the icy star power on the battle arena collapsed, and the majestic fiery star power whizzed towards Mu Sheng. Everyone's expression changed and they thought to themselves, Mu Sheng has lost. Facing Qin Feng's attack, Mu Sheng did not panic at all, and he still looked calm, as if this scene had long been within his expectations, and he had done it deliberately. Disc Blade Shield. Just as Qin Feng's full blow was about to hit Mu Sheng, a small round silver shield appeared in front of the latter. The small silver shield spun non-stop and actually withstood Qin Feng's full-force punch. Inferior yellow-level spiritual treasure. Someone on the spectator stand recognized the grade of the spiritual treasure. Mu Sheng bellowed. After the small silver shield withstood Qin Feng's attack, 3 blades of light appeared around it. The 3 blades of light actually transformed into a silver wheel and flew towards Qin Feng. The 3 blades of light spun rapidly. Qin Feng stared at the disc blade shield, and an unprecedented solemn expression appeared on his face. He could feel a dangerous aura from it. That disc-bladed shield made a strange arc and spun towards Qin Feng at lightning speed. Those 3 light blades spun unceasingly. If one was not careful enough, one's skin would split open and flesh would be torn open. If one was serious, one's limbs would be broken and crippled. Raging Flame Fist, Fire Element Shield. The fiery star power quickly formed a huge star power shield in front of Qin Feng, and the star power shield emitted a scorching aura. The disc blade shield fiercely collided with the star power shield, and the 3 blades of light spun and cut the star power shield. Under the cutting of the 3 blades of light, the star power shield quickly collapsed, and the disc blade shield was only slightly obstructed, and continued to fly towards Qin Feng. However, this slight obstruction bought Qin Feng time to react. Qin Feng continuously retreated, and at the same time he condensed all the star power in his body. When he retreated to the edge of the battle arena, he could no longer retreat. Raging Flame Fist, raging flames burning the sky. The star power in his body seemed to have turned into a ball of flames, and fiercely bombarded the disc blade shield. Under Qin Feng's full force attack, the disc blade shield actually flew out and flew directly towards the crowd on the spectator stand, causing the crowd's faces to change drastically. The middle-aged bald man on the high platform moved and instantly appeared in mid-air, and actually used his hand to catch the disc blade shield that was spinning at high speed. This action made everyone gasp. The middle-aged bald man actually returned to the high platform in the next moment and placed the disc blade shield in front of the table. There was no complacency on his face at all, as if this action was nothing at all. Qin Feng had already used all his strength in the punch just now, and the star power in his body had become somewhat empty. On the other hand, Mu Sheng looked relaxed, and the situation had already begun to tilt in Mu Sheng's favor. Indeed, as a starry warrior who had reached the middle stage of the second order initial mastery, he had an immense advantage over Qin Feng, who was at the early stage of the second order initial mastery with a profound rank inferior grade star technique and a yellow grade numinous treasure. In the crowd, Mu Qing stared at Qin Feng with a trace of jealousy in his eyes. If it weren't for Qin Feng, he would have been the one entering the star power room to cultivate this time. There are still 3 days to the Young Heroes competition. You guys can take a break during these 3 days, Mu Chuandao said with a smile. Mu Chuandao said a few words to the 5 of them and left. The surrounding young men and women were like sparrows as they began to discuss. Mu Hanqing walked towards Mu Hanyu and Qin Feng with a trace of envy on her face. She was extremely prideful. Although she couldn't enter the star power room to cultivate, she didn't slack off during this period of time. Although her strength was still at the peak of the second order initial mastery, her aura was obviously much stronger. Sister Hanyu, you're going to become a third order powerhouse soon. Mu Hanqing said with a smile. You've improved too, Mu Hanyu said with a smile. Qin Feng, why didn't you advance? You must have been lazy in your cultivation. Mu Hanqing looked at Qin Feng and teased. Qin Feng smiled calmly and didn't comment. After chatting with Mu Hanyu and Mu Hanqing for a while, Qin Feng bade them farewell and returned to the courtyard. Of course, the 2 beautiful girls had successfully attracted a lot of hatred for him during this period of time. However, Qin Feng didn't take it to heart. When Qin Feng returned to the courtyard, he bumped into Qin Haoyuan and his wife who had just returned. Father, mother. Qin Feng called out happily when he saw Qin Haoyuan and his wife. Calculating the time, it had been a long time since he last saw his parents. Qin Haoyuan and his wife were also very happy. Li Ruoyu looked at her son who was gradually maturing with a gratified smile on her face. Qin Haoyuan looked at Qin Feng and nodded with a smile. Not bad, Feng, has reached the peak of the second order initial mastery. Qin Feng laughed embarrassedly as he felt that Qin Haoyuan's aura was different from before. Father, you've already reached the third order? Qin Haoyuan nodded and said with a smile. After my injuries healed, my cultivation also improved a little. I just broke through a few days ago. The Young Heroes competition is 3 days later. How are your preparations? I will do my best to get a good ranking, Qin Feng said. Although his goal was to win the championship, there were many experts in the Young Heroes competition after all. He couldn't be too confident. Good, I just got a bottle of good wine, do you want to taste it? Xiesher had already reached the transcendent realm and had a strong resistance against hunger and thirst. With the help of the heaven and earth energy, he could even go without eating or drinking for a long time. However, he was extremely fond of good wine and had collected all kinds of good wine in his residence. Okay, it's settled then. Mu Huaizhi turned his head and said to Mu Qingda, Qingda, bring Qing'er and the rest back first. I will catch up with Grandmaster Xia. Yes. Mu Qingda said respectfully. Qin Feng and Mu Hanqing also followed Mu Qingda and the rest back to the Mu residence. However, before they left, Xie Shi's gaze paused on Qin Feng for a moment. After returning to the Mu residence, Qin Feng bade farewell to Mu Qingda, Mu Hanqing, and the rest and quickly returned to his courtyard. He closed the door and with a thought, 2 metal tokens were taken out from the void stone and quietly laid in his palm. When Mu Hanqing obtained the ancient era's metal plate from the auction house, she immediately gave it to Qin Feng. However, what surprised Qin Feng was that the rune in his palm didn't have any reaction. However, he still felt a faint connection between the rune and the 2 metal tokens. If it wasn't for his extraordinary perception, he might not have felt it. Chapter 315. Early in the morning, a figure sat cross-legged on a stone bench in a courtyard of the Mu clan. The power of stars between heaven and earth turned into threads and entered the young man's body through his skin like mischievous little snakes. It was the time when the power of stars between heaven and earth was the strongest and the best time for cultivation. Hence, Qin Feng woke up early every day and cultivated in the courtyard. After advancing to the 2nd rank, there was no need to spend extra effort in tempering the body and forging the bones. The cleansing of the astral force energy could naturally temper the starry warriors' bodies. Hence, starry warriors at the 2nd rank and above basically focused on meditating and training. The higher the level of the star technique, the higher the requirements for the starry warrior's state of mind and the lower the requirements for physical cultivation. Of course, the starry warriors who focused on physical cultivation were an exception. Under the same external cultivation conditions, the better the state of mind, the higher the level of comprehension, and the faster the speed of advancement. Qin Feng slowly opened his eyes and spat out a mouthful of turbid air. He could feel that the astral energy whirlpool in his dantian seemed to have become a little bigger. The astral energy in his body was also a little stronger than before. Facing the intense competition of the coming-of-age ceremony, Qin Feng did not dare to relax for the past half a month. He had also opened a small part of the 2nd meridian of the Blazing Sun tyrannical technique. He had also secretly practiced the Blazing Flame Fist several times and had already made some progress. Feng, it seems that your cultivation has improved again. Qin Haoyuan walked out of the house. He had also visited many elders of the Mu clan these days. The elders of the Mu clan had a good impression of Qin Haoyuan. However, whether or not he could return to the clan depended on Qin Feng's performance during the coming-of-age ceremony. Father. Hearing Qin Haoyuan's praise, Qin Feng scratched his head in embarrassment. By the way, Elder Mu Chuandao said that you can go to the clan's elixir room to get 1 star force elixir and 2 second-grade elixirs. Qin Haoyuan suddenly said as he threw a list of elixirs to Qin Feng. Qin Feng took the list and was a little overjoyed. However, he was also shocked by the clan's generosity. A strength of the star pill, in addition to 2 stalks of Tier 2 spirit herbs, was equivalent to close to 10,000 cultivation coins. If they were in Fengling town, they wouldn't even dare to think of such a good thing. In fact, Qin Feng didn't know that in the Mu clan, everyone could go to the elixir room every month to get some elixirs. The number of elixirs one could get was determined by one's performance. If an individual's talent was higher and their star techniques were stronger, it would mean that they would have a greater future and value. Hence, they would be valued by the clan and would be able to receive more pills every month. Of course, even if it was the worst person, the lowest standard would be 2-star strength dawn per month, or receive 10,000 cultivation coins worth of pills or elixirs. That was the benefit of being from a large clan. They were rich in resources and even the worst star techniques could be produced with the accumulation of resources. The Tong family of Fengling town was the most powerful family in the town. However, compared to the Mu clan they were like dust and rocks. Qin Feng looked at the list of pills excitedly. In fact, he wasn't considered a member of the Mu clan and didn't have the right to receive pills. However, Mu Chuandao specially gave him a list of pills to take care of Qin Feng so that he could further improve his strength and enter the top 10 in the coming-of-age ceremony. The elixir room is in the south court. You can take the list and get it yourself. Overthrowing the imperial power, enchanting crown princess. Qin Haoyuan looked at Qin Feng's excited expression and smiled. Okay. Qin Feng nodded his head. With these 2 Tier 2 spiritual herbs and this strength of the star pill, Qin Feng believed that he would be able to open the 2nd meridian of the Blazing Sun Tyrant technique. If he could open the 2nd meridian, he believed that his strength would increase by a certain amount. After breakfast, Qin Feng couldn't wait to go to the south court of the clan. The Mu clan occupied a large area. Hence, the entire clan was divided into the East Court, South Court, West Court, North Court and Central Court. The elixir room that Qin Feng went to was located in the South Court. Although he wasn't particularly familiar with the Mu clan's terrain, he roughly knew where to go after Qin Haoyuan's instructions. After nearly 2 hours, Qin Feng arrived at the South Court. He saw a 3-story pavilion in the distance. The elixir room had 3 big words on it. The entire pavilion emitted a faint medicinal fragrance. Seeing the words elixir room, Qin Feng's spirit was lifted. Even his footsteps quickened. There were 2 guards standing at the entrance of the elixir room. Their bodies emitted a terrifying aura. Neither of them was weaker than Tong Wen's aura. They were actually 2 third-grade powerhouses. The invincible third-grade powerhouses in Fengling Town were actually just 2 ordinary guards in the Mu clan. This made Qin Feng very surprised. Holding the list of herbs from Mu Chuandao, Qin Feng successfully obtained a star power pill and 2 second-grade spiritual herbs, green crystal fruit, from an elder of the elixir room. The fiery red round elixir in his hand emitted a faint fluctuation of star power. The rich medicinal fragrance rushed into the nose, making people feel relaxed and happy. The 2 green crystal fruits were green and translucent, making people's hearts beat faster. The fragrance they emitted was far from what first-grade spiritual herbs could compare to. Haha. Qin Feng carefully put away the elixir and spiritual herbs. His mood was incomparably happy. He couldn't help but laugh. This couldn't be blamed on him. Since he'd transmigrated, he'd never consumed such expensive medicinal pills. Moreover, the Star Force pill and green crystal fruit he received from the pill room today were almost equivalent to 10,000 profound coins, so how could he not be overjoyed? Qin Feng hummed a little tune as he rushed towards the courtyard where he lived. Unexpectedly, on the way, 2 youths flashed from the side and blocked Qin Feng's path. Qin Feng recognized these 2 youths. They were the 2 youths who stood behind Mu Li that day. His good mood was immediately destroyed by these 2 youths. May I know what the matter is? Qin Feng tried to sound as friendly as possible. He didn't want to cause trouble in the clan. Of these 2 youths, the slightly taller one was called Mu Lian, and the slightly shorter one was called Mu Yan. They were both extremely loyal subordinates of Mu Li. That day they wanted to teach Qin Feng a lesson with Mu Li, but Mu Hanyu's appearance made them give up. However, they wanted to wait until Qin Feng was alone to deal with him. Unexpectedly, Qin Feng had been in seclusion for half a month, so they couldn't find an opportunity. Today they finally caught a good opportunity. When the 2 of them saw that Qin Feng had actually received a stellar force pellet and 2 green crystal fruits from the pill room, their mouths watered even more. They discussed and decided to snatch the stellar force pellet and green crystal fruits from Qin Feng's hands. Kid, you were lucky last time. Today no one can protect you. However, if you give the star power pill and green crystal fruit to us, you can avoid a round of physical pain. Mu Lian said with a malicious smile. However, Mu Lian knew that Qin Feng wouldn't easily hand over the star power pill and green crystal fruit. Therefore he had an excuse to teach Qin Feng a lesson and snatch the star power pill and green crystal fruit. Qin Feng glanced at the 2 youths and snorted coldly, saying, "You 2 scram as far as you can." The group of youths' faces became ugly. Most of them were at the peak of the early Second Order. Their battle strength was even weaker than Mu Xiang's. Seeing Qin Feng defeat Mu Xiang so cleanly, they were incomparably shocked. Seeing Mu Xiang's ashen face, Mu Li didn't fly into a rage like everyone imagined. Instead he sneered, "You really have some skills." After saying that, he took a step forward and a kind of star power pressure enveloped Qin Feng. The star power pressure was several times stronger than that of Mu Xiang's. Qin Feng reckoned that Mu Li's cultivation should be at the beginning of the middle Second Order. Although Qin Feng wasn't confident of winning against a star warrior who was at the beginning of the middle Second Order, he wasn't afraid of going all out because he still had several trump cards in his hands. Just as Mu Li was about to attack, he heard a delicate voice. "Stop it." A young girl in a purple dress appeared at the door. She looked to be about 17 years old and had a slender figure. Her dress outlined her graceful curves. The young girl was rather pretty and her slightly raised eyebrows revealed a trace of heroism that wasn't inferior to that of a man. However, her beautiful face was as cold as ice and kept others at a distance. "Sister Hanyu," one of the youths called softly, sounding a little fearful. The young girl named Mu Hanyu was the granddaughter of the Mu clan's patriarch, Mu Qianlang. Not only was she the dream goddess of the youths, but her star technique talent was also astonishing. She took part in the previous competition when she was 15 years old and came in first. Now she was only 17 years old and was already an expert at the peak of the Second Order. Mu Hanyu came to the courtyard and said coldly, "What are you guys doing here? Don't you want to participate in the coming-of-age ceremony?" When Mu Li saw Mu Hanyu, he didn't dare to be too presumptuous and said softly, "Sister Hanyu, we're just sparring." "Sparring? Mu Li, do you want to spar with me?" Her voice was as cold as ever and didn't seem to be friendly at all. Mu Li didn't dare to spar with Mu Hanyu because that would be asking for a beating. He glared at Qin Feng and said, "Kid, count yourself lucky today. Don't let me see you during the competition. Otherwise I'll teach you a lesson. Let's go." After Mu Li and the rest left, Qin Feng said calmly, "Thank you, Sister Hanyu. You're not a good person either." Mu Hanyu humphed coldly and turned to leave, leaving Qin Feng smiling bitterly. However, when Mu Hanyu's beautiful figure was about to disappear, a voice came from the door. "Be careful if you meet Mu Li during the competition." This sentence made Qin Feng feel that this ice beauty's heart wasn't as cold and heartless as he thought. Qin Feng didn't tell Qin Hao Yuan and his wife about what happened today because he was afraid that they would be worried about him. After all, their status in the Mu clan was low and he didn't want to cause trouble the moment he arrived. In the room, Qin Feng sat cross-legged on the bed. The stellar energy whirlpool in his dantian started to revolve non-stop. Suddenly, a suction force appeared around Qin Feng's body and the stellar energy between heaven and earth rushed toward Qin Feng's body under this suction force. Boom! The stellar energy was surging in his meridians. With a thought, Qin Feng directed the stellar energy to a meridian. This meridian was the second meridian among the 19 meridians that needed to be opened in order to cultivate the Flaming Sun tyrannical art. Qin Feng had spent a few days trying to open this meridian, but the progress was minimal. The difficulty of cultivating the Flaming Sun tyrannical art had far exceeded Qin Feng's imagination. If he wanted to refine the stellar energy between heaven and earth and strengthen the stellar energy in his body, he had to successfully cultivate the Flaming Sun tyrannical art and open 19 meridians. However, opening 19 meridians would require a large amount of stellar energy. With the stellar energy in Qin Feng's body, it was already good that he was able to open the first meridian. It would be difficult for him to open the second meridian. Under the guidance of Qin Feng's will, the stellar energy crashed against the heavy blockages within his meridians. The stellar energy within his body had also been pushed to the limit at this moment. However, the blockages within his meridians did not budge at all. After several days of impact, only 1/10 of his meridians had been opened. If the second meridian was already so difficult, who knew how difficult it would be to open the last meridian? After the stellar energy slammed into his meridians for 2 hours, the stellar energy in his body started to show signs of exhaustion. After Qin Feng finished his cultivation, a bitter smile appeared on his face. It would be great if he had some stellar energy elixirs. It would be extremely beneficial for him to break through his meridians. The stellar energy elixirs were elixirs made from spiritual herbs or energy crystals that contained stellar energy. They could quickly restore the stellar energy in a starry warrior's body. For example, the stellar energy elixir was one of them. However, this elixir was extremely precious. Even in the entire Mu clan, there were only 5,000 stellar energy elixirs distributed to the younger generation every year. The current Qin Feng could only absorb and refine the stellar energy from heaven and earth and then use it to break through the blockages in his meridians. However, not only did it consume his mind, it was also extremely slow. Qin Feng felt that the cultivation of a starry warrior was not only related to his own diligence but also related to the resources in the outside world and his own opportunities. Even if he were to cultivate day and night, it would take him a few years to break through these 19 meridians. However, if he had enough resources, he could greatly shorten the time. Now, he hoped that he could obtain a good ranking in the clan's coming-of-age ceremony and return to the Mu clan. Then he could use the clan's resources to cultivate. However, after cultivating the Blazing Sun tyrannical art, Qin Feng also felt that some changes had occurred to the stellar energy within his body. Following the opening of the first meridian, the stellar energy within his body gradually became somewhat fiery, containing a trace of tyrannical and ferocious feeling. Flaming Sun tyrannical skill. Although this change was extremely small, Qin Feng's intuition told him that if he cultivated the Flaming Sun tyrannical skill to completion, all the stellar energy in his body would be converted into the Flaming Sun tyrannical skill. His strength would definitely increase greatly. Qin Feng stretched out his hand and summoned the devouring spirit devil flame. Staring at the pulsating black flame, Qin Feng's face revealed a trace of doubt. He had studied this devouring spirit devil flame for a long time, but he still did not gain any results. Qin Feng believed that the devouring spirit devil flame's function was not only to open meridians, refine bones and cleanse marrows. It should have some other uses. Otherwise, how could it be called a rare flame of heaven and earth? The devouring spirit devil flame was also a trump card in his hand. He could not let others know about it. If he could study its function, then it would greatly increase his battle strength. Qin Feng stored the devouring spirit devil flame back into his body. When he thought about what happened during the day, he felt a little troubled. Just a few days after returning to the clan, he had already formed a grudge with a group of youngsters. Moreover, the strength of these youngsters was not weak. The leader, Mu Li, was about the same age as Qin Feng, but his cultivation had astonishingly reached the intermediate second order. Chapter 316. Mu Hanqing glanced at Qin Feng but didn't say anything. Maybe that senior is an expert living in seclusion in the Sunset Mountain Range and doesn't want to show himself. Mu Kuan guessed. Mu Hanyu came to Qin Feng and said, "Qin Feng, since we've met, why don't we go together?" Qin Feng shook his head and said, "Thank you, Sister Hanyu, but I still want to train alone. Hanqing is injured, please take care of her." The reason why Qin Feng didn't want to go with them was because he saw that Mu Kuan and Mu Cheng were hostile towards him. If they were to go together, they would probably fight within 2 days. Mu Hanyu was stunned. She didn't expect Qin Feng to reject her suggestion. This was the first time she was rejected. "Qin Feng, I will wait for you at the selection." Mu Cheng shouted, anger flashing in his eyes. "Okay." Qin Feng was unmoved and turned to leave. Looking at Qin Feng's back, Mu Hanqing said angrily, "What a stubborn guy. Seems like cousin Qin Feng has gained a lot during this period of time." Mu Kuan could feel that Qin Feng's aura was much stronger than before. "I'll definitely teach him a lesson during the selection," Mu Cheng said fiercely. After separating from Mu Hanyu and the rest, Qin Feng once again wandered alone in the Sunset Mountain Range. When he was thirsty, he drank a mouthful of spring water. When he was hungry, he ate a wild fruit. When he was lucky, he might even find some elixirs. Time also flowed by in minutes and seconds, and Qin Feng's strength once again rose under this kind of tempering. The youth sat cross-legged on the ground like a stone statue. The grade 2 green crystal fruit that he just consumed was now fully released. The flaming sun tyrant art was slowly circulating in his body. Pure star energy flowed through his meridians and circulated throughout his body, nourishing his entire body. This kind of cultivation continued for a full 4 hours. The youth's slightly closed eyes slowly opened, and his originally serious little face flashed with a touch of excitement. He faintly felt that he was about to break through again. Mid-second order small perfection? How was this possible? Even Qin Feng himself didn't dare to believe it. It hadn't even been a month since he entered the peak second order small perfection and he was about to break through again? However, his instincts told him that as long as he had enough star force, it shouldn't be a problem for him to advance again. Because of the spirit-swallowing devil flame, Qin Feng's rank 1 foundation was abnormally firm. No matter if it was the width of his meridians or the strength of his bones, they were all far beyond ordinary people. In addition, with the Flaming Sun Tyrant technique, a middle-level profound rank cultivation method, the speed and efficiency of absorbing star energy from the world was much higher than ordinary people. Therefore, this kind of advancement speed was very normal for him. However, the power of the stars between heaven and earth was relatively thin. Although the blazing sun tyrant art was operating to the extreme, this kind of energy was still not enough for it to level up. If one didn't have enough star force when advancing, even if one had the opportunity to advance, one wouldn't be able to advance. At this moment, Qin Feng thought of the astral force chamber of his clan. The amount of astral force there should be enough to allow him to break through. I must definitely become one of the 5. Thinking of this, Qin Feng clenched his fists tightly as he thought in his heart. After Qin Feng finished cultivating, he continued rushing towards the exit of the mountain range. According to his estimation, he should be in front of the vast majority of people. However, while he was on his way, he suddenly felt a faint fluctuation coming from the forest not far ahead. "Who is it?" Qin Feng shouted loudly. The star force in his palm condensed and a streak of star force pierced through the air and shot towards the forest. Whoosh! A black shadow flashed out from the forest and fled into the distance. Spiritual medicine monkey? Qin Feng recognized that the black shadow was the spiritual medicine monkey. He felt that the fluctuation it emitted should be a rank 1 demonic beast. Moreover, it was a young monkey. The spiritual medicine monkey's attack power was one of the weaker demonic beasts. However, its intelligence was quite high. It also had a special ability, which was the ability to find spiritual medicine. As long as the spiritual medicine monkey appeared, there would definitely be spiritual medicine nearby. Moreover, the spiritual medicine's grade wouldn't be too low. However, although the spiritual medicine monkey's attack power was weak, its specialty was that it was extremely agile and difficult to capture. The spiritual medicine monkey's temperament was extremely unyielding. If it wasn't willing, even if it was captured alive, it would starve to death. Therefore, it was very rare for people to use it to find spiritual medicine. Qin Feng knew all this from the so-called leisure books in the clan's library. My girlfriend is a zombie. Thinking of this, Qin Feng chased after the little spiritual medicine monkey. He didn't want to capture the little spiritual medicine monkey because even if it was a rank 1 little spiritual medicine monkey, it would be difficult for him to capture it with his skills. He mainly wanted to see if there were any spiritual medicine around. However, the little spiritual medicine monkey was extremely strange. Its movement was obviously very fast, but every time Qin Feng was about to lose it, the little spiritual medicine monkey's speed would decrease as if it was waiting for Qin Feng. This made Qin Feng, who originally wanted to give up, chase again. However, every time Qin Feng increased his speed, the little spiritual medicine monkey would also increase its speed and run forward. It always maintained a distance from Qin Feng. This happened a few times. Finally, Qin Feng stopped and decided not to chase anymore. Unexpectedly, he discovered a strange scene. When Qin Feng was about to rush back, the little spiritual medicine monkey actually chased after him again. It was squeaking at Qin Feng from a distance. Qin Feng turned around and looked at the little spiritual medicine monkey with a puzzled expression. He knew that the spiritual medicine monkey was very intelligent and wouldn't act like this for no reason. Therefore, he also wanted to know what the little spiritual medicine monkey was doing. This little spiritual medicine monkey had gray fur and its size was not much different from a normal monkey. However, it had a bunch of white fur on its head which was very conspicuous. Its body also emitted a faint fragrance of spiritual medicine. This fragrance was formed when it was often in a spiritual medicine land. The little spiritual medicine monkey scratched its head and squeaked twice. It extended a front paw and pointed forward. The monkey's squeak had a trace of sadness and its eyes also had a hint of hope. "You want me to follow you?" Qin Feng looked for a long time before he realized what the little spiritual medicine monkey meant. The little spiritual medicine monkey seemed to be able to understand human language. It nodded its head and dashed forward. Qin Feng's curiosity was greatly aroused. Therefore he followed from a distance. Rank 2-star warriors still couldn't walk in the air. When they reached rank 3, they had the ability to create shapes and could walk in the air for a short period of time. Experts of celestial realm and above could walk in the air for a long period of time. The little spiritual medicine monkey rushed forward. From time to time it would look back at Qin Feng. When it saw that Qin Feng was far behind, it also scratched its ears and cheeks. Its eyes revealed an anxious expression. After walking like this for about 2 hours, the surrounding people became more and more scarce. Qin Feng could feel that he had already left the mountain range's exit. Instead, he was rushing toward the depths of the mountain range. Mu Lian and Mu Yan's expressions kept changing. They were very surprised. Although they saw Qin Feng defeat Mu Xiang in 3 moves, they were definitely not his match when they joined forces. They didn't expect that after not seeing him for half a month, Qin Feng's cultivation had improved by a lot. Even when they joined forces, they were still at a disadvantage. However, Qin Feng was not much better at this time. After fighting with Mu Lian and Mu Yan, even if he had the Flaming Sun Tyrant Profound, he still felt a little uncomfortable. After all, he had only opened 1 meridian. The star energy in his body only had a trace of the Flaming Sun Tyrant Profound's aura. It had not completely transformed into the Flaming Sun Tyrant Profound. After the fight just now, there was not much star energy left in Qin Feng's body. If they were to continue fighting, it would be hard to predict the outcome. Mu Yan, this brat is a little overwhelmed. Let's put in more effort and we can beat this brat down. Mu Lian saw some clues and guessed that Qin Feng had reached the point of exhaustion. He said to Mu Yan. Although Mu Lian and Mu Yan were at a disadvantage, they were still at the peak of the early second order. Their strength could not be underestimated. Especially if they were to fight for a long time, it would be disadvantageous for Qin Feng. Mu Lian and Mu Yan looked at each other and attacked again. Qin Feng's eyes flashed with a hint of ruthlessness. He took out the star energy pellet and put it in his mouth. With a roll of his tongue, he swallowed the star energy pellet. The pure medicinal power spread out like a tide, and the depleted star power in his body immediately became incomparably abundant. The star power vortex in Qin Feng's dantian rotated very fast, and in the process of rotation, it seemed to have become a little bigger. Air-splitting palm split into pieces. Qin Feng's palms shot out with a fierce wind, directly pressing towards Mu Lian and Mu Yan's chests. Mu Lian and Mu Yan suddenly felt a wave of fiery star energy rushing towards them. The powerful force made it difficult for them to breathe. The three figures heavily collided with each other. Qin Feng's palms broke through Mu Lian and Mu Yan's attacks and landed on their chests. Bang! Under the shocked gazes of the crowd, Mu Lian and Mu Yan looked as if they were struck by lightning. Their faces suddenly became incomparably pale. Then, a trace of dark red streaked across and a trace of blood flowed out from the corner of their mouths. The two figures flew out and fell several feet away. The crowd was in an uproar and the sound of discussion was incessant. However, Qin Feng was not in the mood to listen to what they were saying. He glanced at the two people on the ground and hurriedly left. He had to hurry back and refine the star energy pellet that he swallowed. Qin Feng, brotherly will definitely not let you go. Mu Lian roared at Qin Feng's back. Qin Feng hurriedly returned to his room and closed the door. He sat cross-legged on the bed and formed a seal with both hands, circulating the blazing sun tyrannical art. To the current Qin Feng, the star energy pellet was like the rain that a drought field was looking forward to. The star force pellet contained pure star force, which was like a surging torrent, as it exploded within his body. Qin Feng gathered his qi and guided the star energy pellet into the second meridian that had not made any progress for a long time. Under Qin Feng's guidance, the star energy pellet arrived at the second meridian that the blazing sun tyrannical art needed to open. It fiercely attacked the blockage in the meridian. Like Tong Shui slapping on the shore, the torrent of star power unceasingly battered against the layers of blockages in his meridians. Qin Feng had already opened a small part of the second meridian. However, before he could only slowly open it bit by bit like an ant-moving house. The efficiency was extremely low. Zither fights the world, proud world evil concubine. However, with the help of the star energy pellet, the star energy pellet's effect was clearly much better. Not long after, the blockage in the meridian showed signs of loosening. Qin Feng was delighted. He also increased the speed of the circulation of the blazing sun tyrannical art. In a room in the Mu clan's courtyard, the youth's figure was like an old monk in meditation. He sat there for nearly 4 hours. Bang bang bang. From within the youth's body, faint sounds of impact could be heard. That was the muffled sound of the star energy pellet attacking the blockage in the meridian. The youth's eyes were tightly shut. His eyebrows were slightly furrowed, but the corner of his mouth showed a hint of determination. Although this kind of impact on the meridian did not bring about intense pain, that kind of dull pain was not very pleasant. However, the youth clearly clenched his teeth and persevered. As the sound of the impact between the river and the shore in the youth's body became louder and louder, the youth's expression also became more and more serious. His teeth also tightly bit his lips. Large beads of sweat slowly slid down his forehead. His clothes were also drenched in sweat. Boom. Along with a low and deep muffled sound, Qin Feng suddenly felt the star energy in his body fiercely collide with the layers of blockages in his meridians. Those blockages were finally unable to withstand the impact of the star energy and completely collapsed. A kind of carefree and comfortable feeling spontaneously arose. Qin Feng slowly opened his eyes. His face revealed a trace of uncontrollable excitement. He also discovered that the star energy pellets seemed to have increased by a bit. It was really hard to imagine how strong it would be when all the star energy in his body was converted to star energy pellet. However, Qin Feng knew that it was easier said than done to convert all the star energy in his body into star energy pellet. Opening the second meridian was already so difficult, not to mention the other 17 meridians. This time, if not for the help of the star energy pellet, even if he used another half a month, he might not be able to open the second meridian. Feeling the increase in strength in his body, Qin Feng had more confidence in the clan's coming-of-age ceremony. Slap slap. In a small courtyard in the Mu clan, a youth fiercely slapped 2 other youths. The rest of the youths did not dare to say a word. Useless things, the 2 of you can't even take care of a small early-stage second-order brat. This will definitely make Mu Xing laugh to death. Mu Li's face was full of anger. The other 2 youths were Mu Lian and Mu Yan who fought with Qin Feng today. However, at this time, both of them were slapped and did not dare to say a word. Brother Li, that brat is a little strange, especially the star energy in his body. It's especially overbearing. Mu Xiang said from the side. Thinking back to his fight with Qin Feng half a month ago, he still felt a little apprehensive. No matter what, he's just a brat who just stepped into second order. He really made me lose all my face. Mu Li coldly snorted. Brother Li, originally we wouldn't have lost today, but he ate a star energy pellet and his star energy pellet greatly increased. That's why we lost. Mu Lian also explained. Star energy pellet? How did he get it? A trace of surprise flashed across Mu Li's face. Star energy pellet was extremely precious even to him. Every month he could only receive 3 pellets. We went to the elixir hall and heard that it was specially approved by Elder Mu Chuandao. Mu Yin replied in a low voice. Is that so? No wonder he's so arrogant, so he has Elder Mu's backing. Then let him be arrogant for 2 days, wait until the coming-of-age ceremony to deal with him. Mu Li gritted his teeth and said. Qin Feng made him lose face, and the most important thing for a hot-blooded youth was face. Therefore Mu Li decided to find an opportunity to ruthlessly teach him a lesson. Chapter 317. What appeared in front of everyone was a cyan-colored broadsword. The broadsword was about 1 meter long, and the blade was slightly wider than an ordinary broadsword. There were many rune-like imprints on the blade, and these imprints reflected a rainbow light like a rainbow. Domineering. This was the first impression everyone had when they saw the cyan rainbow blade. They also felt an extremely dense domineering aura from the cyan rainbow blade. Qin Feng looked at the cyan rainbow blade and exclaimed in his heart. If he could buy this cyan rainbow blade, coupled with a profound rank blade technique, and supplemented with scorching sun tyrannical profound, he would definitely be incomparably powerful. He might even be able to fight against a rank 3 powerhouse. A low-grade profound rank spirit treasure could greatly increase a starry warrior's combat strength, and it was rare in the entire Tianfeng province. This cyan rainbow blade was also refined by Xiesher with great difficulty. With his strength as a soul sculptor, refining a low-grade profound rank spirit treasure was still somewhat strenuous, and the success rate was not high. Saint Daojura. Elixirs and pills could only increase a starry warrior's advancement, cultivation efficiency, and success rate. Spirit treasures, on the other hand, could truly increase a starry warrior's combat strength. Therefore, if a starry warrior had to choose between the two, they would definitely choose spirit treasures. Although a low-grade profound rank spirit treasure and a high-grade yellow rank spirit treasure were only 1 level apart, their effects and prices were not on the same level. A profound rank spirit treasure with the starry warrior star power could display some unique skills. Although this cyan rainbow blade did not have any unique skills, looking at its sharp blade, even a peak rank 3 starry warrior's body would not dare to easily take it head-on. 50 million cultivation coins. Someone immediately shouted a price. Although they knew it would be difficult to compete with the 4 major forces, they still wanted to try. 55 million cultivation coins. 60 million cultivation coins. Under the crowd's push, the price of the cyan rainbow blade soared. There was a small sect in the hall that immediately gave up after bidding 70 million cultivation coins. Not to mention that they did not have the financial resources to compete for this kind of treasure. Even if they did, it would be a disaster. 100 million cultivation coins. A stern voice sounded, causing everyone to shiver uncontrollably. A profound rank low-grade spirit treasure, according to the normal price, should be around 80 million to 100 million cultivation coins. And this bid had reached the peak of the price of a mystic rank low-grade spirit treasure. Qin Feng cast his gaze towards the source of the voice. It was a middle-aged man from the Lei clan. His face was glowing with vigor, his eyes were like torches, and his body emitted a bloody aura. According to Mu Qingda, that person's surname was Nda, and he was an elder of the Lei clan. He had killed countless people, and his cultivation had reached the half-step trance-divine stage. He was only half a step away from the trance-divine stage, and he was known as the strongest person under the trance-divine stage in the Tianfeng County. 810 million profound coins. Out of everyone's expectations, the Lu clan's Lu Li actually followed up with a bid. 110 million cultivation coins was not a small sum. The Lu clan had just spent 95 million cultivation coins. He did not expect them to still have such wealth. Anda glanced at Lu Li and coldly said, 120 million profound coins. Everyone seemed to be numb to the phenomenon of squandering money like water. It would be strange if there was no such competition. Yao Li was secretly delighted. In this auction, the starting price of all the items was only half of their true value. This was also the strategy they had formulated after much research. Only by setting the starting price low and allowing everyone to participate in the bidding could the price of the items be raised. Only by stimulating these people's vigor and anger during the bidding could the price of the items be raised. Looking at the current situation, this strategy was extremely effective, and the results were even better than expected. The first metal plate was sold for a high price of 6 million profound coins, which made many people flabbergasted. 130 million profound coins. Lu Li's bid was already somewhat lacking in confidence, but looking at his appearance he still wanted to make one last gamble. 140 million profound coins. Anda's voice contained a kind of austere aura, causing people to tremble in fear. Looking at Lu Li's unsightly expression, everyone knew that he would not continue to bid. 140 million profound coins. Is there anyone else who wants to bid? Yao Li looked around and saw that no one else was bidding. After repeating it 3 times, the auction hammer fell heavily, and the rainbow saber also fell into the hands of the Lei clan. Everyone, the next item of this auction is the last item of this auction. I believe everyone has already heard that it is a profound level inferior grade star technique. As soon as Yao Li's voice fell, the entire auction hall was filled with gasps of surprise, and the atmosphere in the entire hall reached a climax. Profound level inferior grade star technique, 9 shadows illusionary steps. Yao Li took the last silver plate and removed the brocade cloth, revealing a scroll lying quietly on the silver plate. Profound level inferior grade star techniques were definitely rare in the entire Tianfeng prefecture, and would cause a bloodbath wherever they were placed. In auctions, profound level star techniques were priceless because no one would be so extravagant as to put them up for auction. Everyone looked at the scroll on the silver plate with covetous eyes. Star techniques were different from pills and numinous treasures. The latter two could only benefit one person, but star techniques could benefit the entire clan and clan. Everyone, this star technique is a body movement star technique. When cultivated to the greater mastery level, you will be able to produce 9 shadows. It's an extremely powerful auxiliary star technique. The starting price is 100 million profound coins, and each bid increment must be no less than 8 million profound coins. Yao Li said calmly. He didn't need to waste his breath on this star technique because its value could be seen from the level of the star technique. Qin Feng looked at the profound level inferior grade star technique, and his heart skipped a beat. Now he was exactly lacking such a body movement star technique. Although the clan also had some body movement star techniques, the level was too low, and even if they were cultivated to the greater mastery level, there wouldn't be much effect. However, he didn't have the capital to bid for this profound level star technique now. Hence, he was also pinning his hopes on the clan. However, the Mu clan didn't bid previously, probably because of this profound level star technique. Qin Feng glanced at Mu Qingda, only to see that the latter was frowning. Although he was staring at the profound level star technique, his expression was extremely solemn, and no one knew what he was thinking. 100 million profound coins. Someone in the hall yelled. Although they knew that it was meaningless to bid like that, they didn't hesitate to call out the starting price, perhaps because they wanted to highlight their existence. 110 million profound coins. 120 million profound coins. Amidst the heated atmosphere, the price of the 9 shadows void steps was pushed up to 150 million profound coins by the people in the hall. The person who called out that price was a second-rate force in Tianfeng prefecture. The man who called out the price was flushed red, and it seemed that he had also given his all in a bid to try his luck. When the price reached 150 million profound coins, the entire auction house fell silent, and everyone turned to look at the 4 major forces in the VIP seats. In the entire Tianfeng province, only the 4 great powers could afford to pay such a high price. Qin Feng smacked his lips and thought, the profound level star technique is indeed expensive. I'm really lucky to have 3 profound level star techniques with me. If the clan could get this star technique, Qin Feng believed that he would definitely have a chance to learn it. Although the entire auction house was quiet, the heavy breathing of the crowd caused the atmosphere in the auction house to become increasingly heated. Everyone knew that the real battle was about to begin. Now, the Lu clan of the 4 major forces had obtained the heart-coagulating blood orchid, the Lei clan had obtained the rainbow saber, and the Fengyun clan and Mu clan hadn't made a move apart from the first auction item. 160 million profound coins. Lu Li was the first to call out the price. Boom, boom, boom. After a few consecutive attacks, Mu Qing barely managed to withstand Qin Feng's attacks, but his figure was extremely disheveled. Everyone looked at everything that happened on the stage with disbelief in their eyes. Mu Qing, whose strength was definitely in the top 5 of the clan, was actually beaten by Qin Feng to the point that he could only defend and couldn't fight back. The entire situation was one-sided. How could they not be shocked? Qin Feng is a good child. Mu Huaiji nodded. This respected elder had a rather high opinion of Qin Feng. He's just relying on a high-grade star technique. It's not considered a game or a journey, Mu Yuntang said calmly. The others knew about the feud between Mu Yuntang and Qin Haoyuan and didn't want to offend Mu Yuntang for Qin Feng. Hence they didn't interrupt. Boom. After another fierce attack, Mu Qing was blasted a few steps back again. Mu Qing wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and stared at Qin Feng fiercely. You want to beat me? I won't let you have it easy. All of a sudden, the aura exuding from Mu Qing's body suddenly became much stronger and vaguely reached the peak of the second order. The power of the stars in his body quickly condensed in his palm, and the palm print in his hand kept changing, emitting a terrifying aura. Mu Qing bit the tip of his tongue gently and spat out a mouthful of blood essence, which merged with the Qingyuan seal in his palm. Blood fusion technique, blood sacrifice to the seal. Mu Huaiji and the others on the high platform exclaimed in shock. The blood fusion technique was a secret technique that could increase the cultivation of starry warriors in a short period of time. Blood sacrifice to the seal was a secret technique of the Qingyuan seal that could instantly increase the power of the seal. Although these two secret techniques could increase the combat power of starry warriors in a short period of time, they were extremely harmful to starry warriors. In serious cases they might even be bedridden for a year and a half. Therefore these two techniques were forbidden by the Mu clan. However, Mu Qing violated the clan's rules and actually practiced these two techniques privately. Qin Feng was just about to use his star technique to resist Mu Qing's attack when a familiar feeling surged from his heart. It was very similar to the feeling he had when he fought with the horned wind wolf in the Wuxia mountains. A burning sensation erupted from his dantian, and the star power vortex in his dantian suddenly became much larger. He suddenly felt refreshed, and the aura exuding from his body suddenly strengthened. Advancement. Intermediate second order initial success. Everyone stared at Qin Feng on the stage in shock, their eyes full of shock. Under Mu Qing's coercion, Qin Feng actually advanced again, less than 3 months after his last breakthrough. Some people on the high platform wanted to stop the two of them, but they were stopped by Mu Yuntang on the grounds of waiting and watching. Those with discerning eyes knew that Mu Yuntang was using his power to avenge private grudges. Now that Qin Feng was at the critical moment of advancement, and Mu Qing's aura was at its peak, if they were not careful, Qin Feng would definitely be seriously injured or even become a disabled person. However, Mu Huaiji, Mu Chuandao and the others were extremely calm and did not stop them. Qin Feng, go to hell. Mu Qing's figure soared into the air, and with a wave of his palms, a bright green light seal with incomparable power fiercely blasted towards Qin Feng, who was in the midst of advancement. The green light seal quickly streaked across, and with a woo-woo sound, it left a faint trace in the air, and like a green lightning, it blasted towards Qin Feng. Everyone held their breath, looking at the two people on the stage. Some of the girls screamed and closed their eyes, not daring to look at this thrilling scene. Qin Feng fiercely opened his eyes, and his whole body exuded a cold bronze color. Both of his hands clenched into fists, and the fierce and overbearing scorching sun tyrant profound condensed on his fists, and in a very shocking way, it collided with the green light seal. Boom! A violent fluctuation of star power like a hurricane, with the battle stage as the center, spread out in all directions. The boys and girls who were standing a little closer to the battle stage were actually pushed back dozens of steps by this kind of fluctuation. Their faces were pale, and the blood in their body was surging, rolling over and over in their chest. On the ground of the battle stage there were actually a few slight cracks. Small pieces of gravel were sent flying in all directions, hitting the surrounding boys and girls and causing dozens of groans. However, the crowd couldn't care less as they looked at the two people on the stage. This time the victor should be decided, right? The entire training ground was silent, and only the sound of everyone's heartbeat could be heard. Everyone looked at the battle stage, and in the midst of the dust, the two figures stood facing each other. For a moment no one could tell who was the victor. Who won? Someone below the stage muttered. I don't know, it should be Mu Qing. With the power of the green light seal, I reckon it will be hard for Qin Feng to receive it. Big Sister Hanyu, who won? Mu Hanqing looked at the two figures from afar, and her heart was very nervous. She didn't expect the battle between the two to be so intense. You don't know? Mu Hanyu shook her head. The fluctuation just now was too intense and it caused the dust to fill the air. She didn't see who won and who lost. On the high stage, Mu Huaiji and the others saw this scene clearly. Mu Yuntang's face was red, but his eyes were coldly staring at Qin Feng. The more outstanding Qin Feng's performance was, the more he thought of his son who died tragically, and the hatred in his heart overflowed. You lost. After a long while, Qin Feng on the stage suddenly said, I didn't expect you to be so strong. Even if I used the blood fusion technique and the blood sacrifice seal, I still couldn't win against you. Mu Qing smiled miserably and fell backwards. The crowd was in an uproar and their eyes fell on Qin Feng with shock. No one expected Qin Feng to be so strong. Even if Mu Qing used 2 secret techniques, he still couldn't defeat him. 2 clansmen quickly jumped onto the battle stage and carried Mu Qing down. This time, Mu Qing was seriously injured and he would have to lie in bed for at least a year. Can we announce the results? Qin Feng said softly to the judge who was in a daze. The judge only recovered after a long time and said, Qin Feng wins. With the end of the battle between Qin Feng and Mu Qing, the competition entered the next round. The 10 young elites of the Mu clan would fight in pairs, fighting for the name list of the 5 people. Qin Feng's opponent was a young man named Mu Yong. Although Mu Yong didn't get a good ranking in the competition 2 years ago, his performance this time was extremely strong and Qin Feng had to be cautious. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.